This is the Trib Live High School Sports Network. The official winner of the WBVP Championships, stretching across 10 counties, 2,000 broadcasts a year, live and forever archived. Trib, hssn.triblive.com.
The high school football tradition in Beaver County lives right here on Beaver County Radio.
And if you place the John Lucas at the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
Snap is good. It is down. The kick is up and good.
He's got room. 10-5 touchdown! You better believe it.
Today's game coverage is being brought to you by Dr. C. Timothy Lipp, Beaver County Career Technology Center, the Community College of Beaver County, Electric Garage Door Sales, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Tri-State Neuropathy, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Fry Transportation, Keystone Wellness Programs, Aliquippa, the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbutt, Kelly, and George, and the Lockwood Insurance Agency, among others. Now it's time to go into the broadcast booth as 2022 high school football comes your way on 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, Facebook Live, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to high school football on Beaver County Radio. Along with Eddy Crow, this is Bruce Fry welcoming you to Reeves Field on the campus of Geneva College here in Beaver County. And incredibly enough for our listeners, it is the final week of the regular season here, and we are eager to have this event. It's senior night here at Beaver Falls. Beaver Falls has quite a few seniors with extensive experience. And Eddie, how about that? The last week of the regular season, where'd the time go?
I blinked and teams went from 1-0 to 7-2 and 8-1, and I thought, what happened? I'm just sitting here right now and flashing back, and I ask you this off the air. You're a coach.
Yes.
How many senior nights do you think you've attended? And I'm going to give your answer. You said about 100 or so.
Yeah, well, if you count broadcasting, yeah, way over 100. No question about it. I can't remember how many I've been to this year alone, including my own. So it is, but it's a good night. It's a good night for the seniors. In the other, but the football aspect of it, Eddie, you know, taking a look at the standings in the MAC, Beaver Falls sits atop the pack at 6-0. Neshannock's behind at 4-1, and then Western Beaver and Mohawk are tied at 4-2. But Eddie, Western Beaver, you know, the question remains. Western Beaver lost at home to Mohawk last Saturday afternoon on Beaver County Radio.
I remember listening, thinking, well,
right.
That's not what the numbers were supposed to say.
Right, but that begs the question, Eddie, is this. Do you believe that Western Beaver was looking forward to this game and not paying Mohawk as much mind? That's the first thing you might think of.
If that is the case, and I'm trying to think back when I was in high school, we didn't do that too often. We were focused on it. But if that is the case, you wasted an opportunity to come into this game. The best thing you can do if you've got a team that you know it's going to be you and them at the end of the season, you know chances are good for the conference. You're going to meet them at the end, maybe on senior night like tonight. The best thing you can do to feel good about walking into that game is winning the previous game.
No question about it.
Feeling good about yourself. And if you don't win the previous game, I guarantee you the Western Beaver coaching staff has said if you make these mistakes like you did last week, you're going to get run out of the stadium. So it can be a learning experience.
Momentum's a big
momentum, but you've got more momentum in front of you to rebuild, especially after coming off a loss.
The seniors from Beaver Falls wearing their orange jerseys with white trim. They're at the 50-yard line directly in front of our Beaver County Radio broadcast location. We're happy to be here. We're moving along in the Beaver County Career and Technology Center pregame show. About 12 minutes or so until kickoff. But again, in the standings, Beaver Falls 6-0 in the MAC. They've clinched things up because they've defeated Neshannock. Neshannock's in second at 5-1. Western Beaver and Mohawk at 4-2. So in a sense, this determines playoff seeding for this in this situation, and certainly it's a big opportunity for Western Beaver. And Mohawk, for its part, hosts Neshannock tonight. So that'll be a big game for those teams in terms of playoff seeding because, again, the top 5 in the MAC will advance to the playoffs. Those 4 are secure because they have winning conference records.
You ask about looking ahead a game because of the big games coming up. I don't think that's as much of a threat as scoreboard watching tonight because seedings are up for grabs and there's going to be games going on and we'll get the updates as they come in.
Yes.
But there's games going on other than what we're watching that will have an effect on one or both of these two teams.
And, Eddie, we'll review them when we come back. We are going to take a break from the Beaver County Career and Technology Center pregame show.
I am really glad we're going to review them, and I'm translating that into you understand it because I tried to read it.
Yeah.
Bruce, it made my head hurt, so I'm going to depend on you to walk me through it.
It's all good. We review, we preview games on the Beaver County Career and Technology Center pregame show. Then we go over the actual scores on the Falcones of Moon Township Ford wrap-up show. We're going to throw it back to Matt Durzik in the studio. You're listening to the best in high school football here on Beaver County Radio.
I'm Tiani, and I'm equipped.
Hi, I'm Gabby, and I'm a Bobcat. I'm Susie, and I'm a Bobcat.
Hi, I'm Natalie.
And I'm Grace.
And we're Vikings.
Hi, I'm Dominique, and I'm equipped.
This is Daniel from Hopewell, a proud Viking. Well, it's true that when it's game time, we might be on different sides. It's the other team that we are all part of. A team that'll make a real difference once the season is over. That's because we are all training for a very long and profitable postseason at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center.
For 45 years now, the Beaver County Career and Technology Center has been creating top-notch performers from all local Beaver County high schools. Our spirited recruits have made the starting lineup and performed like all-stars in many different fields.
Why not join our team? Visit bcctc.org, celebrating 45 years as the best place to start a career. The Beaver County Career and Technology Center.
Choose your path at Community College of Beaver County and start learning for real life at a realistic cost. CCBC's 2-year degree programs get you trained and earning a salary in less time and with less debt. Programs in aviation, nursing, education, process technology, criminal justice, and more will prepare you for a real future. You belong here. Apply now or learn more at ccbc.edu.
Being a part of a credit union is like being part of a team where everyone plays and, more importantly, everyone wins. This is Cindy Hiladio for Friendly Federal Credit Union. If you need a loan, it's game time. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden-Neuerl-Quippa. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter or click friendlyfcu.org. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
After any big game, people will be talking. This is Ellen Barras from Falcones Moon Township Ford. The same is true when you get your new vehicle from Falcones Moon Township Ford. Neighbors, friends, and co-workers will notice the new winning style reflected in the car, truck, or SUV you just got from Falcones Moon Township Ford. Located on University Boulevard across from Robert Morris. Click and save at moonford.com and discover what the talk is all about. Falcones Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
It's football season, and if you can see the Aquaman of Beaver County heading deep on a fly route to the end zone, it shouldn't surprise you. This is Jim Riggio, the Aquaman of Beaver County from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Why, you ask? It's obvious. Going deep or the full distance for our customers, no matter what we are up against, is in our game plan. Now, what isn't quite so simple is getting my web feet into a pair of those cleats. This is the Aquaman from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. And looky here, I'm wide open that is, to doing whatever it takes to serve you. Click bfwater.net.
You're listening to high school football on Beaver County Radio, now in our 75th year of covering gridiron action. Coverage is being brought to you by Friendly Federal Credit Union, the Lockwood Insurance Agency, Falcones Moon Township Ford, Electric Garage Door Sales, Frey Transportation, Luxembourg Garbett Kelly and George, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, the Community College of Beaver County, Keystone Wellness Programs, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Drug Free Aliquippa, the Beaver County Career and Technology Center, Tri-State Waters, Medic Rescue, and Beaver County Radio.
Welcome back to Reeves Field on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, 1230 WBVP AM, 99.3 FM, and the Trib High School Sports Network. This is our Beaver County Career and Technology Center pregame show along with Eddy Crow. This is Bruce Fry welcoming you back to senior night here on College Hill, where Beaver Falls will host Western Beaver in a MAC game. In Eddy, it was only this year that Beaver Falls and Western Beaver became a MAC game due to WPIL realignment. In both 2020 and 2021, Beaver Falls defeated Western Beaver in the playoffs. Both of them were one-sided, 42-14 in 2020 when BF went on to the WPIL championship with victory, and 42-8 a year ago when BF went to become a finalist at what was then called Heinz Field.
2 years ago, I think I covered that game. I think
Quite possibly.
I actually did cover that game. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Josh Huff?
Huff was the man.
Was
yes.
he? Okay.
Huff and Livingston.
I remember watching and thinking, okay, that guy's somebody. Huff, I think, ended up at Syracuse.
Well, yeah, the bottom line is you'll see him next week at Acrisure Stadium for the Syracuse Orangemen. He has grown, and he is now listed as a defensive tackle.
Yes.
He was a large running back in high school. In Eddy, let's face it, we've seen the average size of football players. Josh Huff would be a tough guy to bring down in the open field. We saw that repeatedly.
It would. Well, I saw it at the high school level in that game. It would be like, at that time, trying to tackle a bulldozer.
Yep.
Except it was a bulldozer that could not only drag you along, it could run around you.
Yeah, it had pretty good speed.
He's why I remember that game.
Yep. But yeah, he was wearing jersey number 10 at the time, but he has gone to Syracuse, and he is expected to be at I don't believe that you generally set those game times a week in advance at the University of Pittsburgh. I have not caught wind of when that game time might be, but it's next Saturday, November 5th. Syracuse at Pittsburgh. But getting back to another group of Orange men, the Beaver Falls Orange, they do have quite a few weapons. And Eddy, we mentioned this off the air before the broadcast, is it's a rare high school game where you have a duel of two starting, essentially fourth-year quarterbacks. Jaron Brickner of Beaver Falls assumed the position about midway through his freshman year, but Xander Lefevre of Western Beaver, I believe he started the whole time out. I remember back in 2019, and I think we had him early, and I remember at the time saying, this young man's only a freshman. And again, that's as you mentioned, you don't become a four-year starter if you can't hold other people off for that position.
You're a starter, and we've seen this, I think, with the Colts this week. If you don't get the job done, you're not the starter next week. And to have it for 4 years, that's not one of those legacy positions. If you're not getting it done, they will find somebody else. And what both coaches have in 4-year starting quarterbacks are guys that mentally aren't going to make mistakes. That's part of being a 1 or 2 loss team. Having a leader that knows what's going on and knows well enough to direct everybody else.
Yes, in Brickner, for his part, he is a left-handed passer. It was a nice story that my buddy Keith Barnes wrote about him in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette this Thursday.
I just read that.
Yep,
that's a great article.
Yeah, it is. It is good because he's a rare guy. He's in rarefied atmosphere. 5,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing. That doesn't happen every day of the week. But again, he is a left-handed passer, so we'll be careful to watch where the ball's hiked from, the left hash mark or the right hash mark, because he'll roll out in a fashion that's different than a right-handed passer. But he has had an outstanding. But I think the crux of Keith's article was the fact that Brickner's first 2 years as a starter, you mentioned Josh Huff. His job at those 2 years was to learn the game and to be a quote-unquote game manager, another cliche that gets rubbed out.
Your job is to know what the snap count is and hand it to that guy. What did you say, number 10?
Yeah, or Livingston, who they did have 2 1,000-yard rushers in that season.
That's how you deal with the freshman. You keep it simple. Right. You got 2 options, that guy or that guy.
Yeah, but things have evolved into the point where he is now learning to read defenses better, putting the ball in the air more, and he is certainly blessed with a lot of weapons on offense also, none the least of which are Demetrius Taylor, Michael Blackshear, and certainly Richard, in parentheses, Trey Singleton. These 3 guys are all track guys. They were all Beaver Falls, for the record, won the 4x100 in Class AA track this year. They ran a 43.06, which is pretty good.
Wait a minute, back up. Wait, what?
What's that?
A 43.06?
Yeah, 4x100 relay.
43.06.
Yeah, that means each kid's basically under 11 seconds for his 100-meter split.
That means each kid can outrun my truck.
Pretty much so, but again, they won the WPIL. Aliquippa has won that several times in the last decade, but BF did knock them off in 2022. However, those guys were part of it. They have the so-called, I'll give you another one, Eddie. Let's see how many cliches I can use tonight. They have speed to burn.
They have speed to burn.
You've heard that one how many times?
Let's see. Good acceleration at the wide receiver position.
Right, so we're going to take a break. We're going to throw it back to the studio. You're listening to the Beaver County Career and Technology Center pregame show here on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Trib High School Sports Network.
If you're a parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George. Since 1934, they've been committed to the physical and financial recovery of personal injury victims. Why choose the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George? Attorney Larry Kelly explains.
First of all, we've been AV rated by Martindale-Hubbell. It's the highest rating you can get for legal ability and ethics, and that comes from our peers. We have board-certified civil trial specialist, which is like another bar exam. Would you go to a doctor who is not board-certified? Probably not. I've always said, and I tell my daughters, I have 3 daughters who are attorneys. Those in the profession know. The lawyers of LGKG have the respect of our peers, and that's all I ever cared about.
For your free initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
Have you ever thought about where the football team would be without the quarterback? They probably wouldn't fare very well at all. Going through life with dental problems can be similar. That's because so much of what we do and how we interact and entertain with others is dependent upon good dental hygiene. If dental conditions have you sidelined, start by calling the right signals with dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip. Visit lipdentistry.com. Dr. C. Timothy Lip, your family dentist on College Hill and Robinson Township.
Hi, this is Bob Barrickman here for Frey Transportation. When it comes to school buses in Beaver County, it sure is hard not to notice the shiny Frey Transportation fleet. Frey Transportation has been a local family-owned Beaver County business for over 30 years. As any successful football team must be dependable and reliable, these same qualities have made Frey Transportation a champion operation. Best wishes to all local teams and safe travels to the gridirons this season. From your friends at Frey Transportation.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. I'm Rick Cropper with Tri-State Waters, and we deliver everywhere in the tri-state area. Some even say our service is out of this world. Well, I'm not sure about that, but Tri-State Waters does deliver to Moon, Mars, and everywhere in between. No matter what direction your home or business is, we'll deliver and let you fall in love with your waterman too. Call Tri-State Waters at 724-774-4644.
Something on a Saturday flipping through.
Welcome back. to Reeves Field here on the Geneva College campus in Beaver Falls. Beaver Falls Senior Night. The opponent is Western Beaver. And let's talk about the Golden Beavers a little bit. They enter here 7-2 overall. Their 2 conference losses were to Neshannock and to Mohawk in the game last Saturday.
I did not know when I was looking up stats. I didn't know that they had lost 2 games.
Yes.
So
and they were
was
both
the Neshannock loss? Was that a surprise to you?
Yeah, I would think the 48-20 score was a surprise to me.
Okay.
I would say that much. But Western did lose 2 home games at Richard Niabala Field there down in Industry. So they are 7-2. They did have an impressive non-conference slate. They basically did something that Beaver Falls didn't do, and that's beat Beaver. So in that sense, these teams are evenly matched. But the Golden Beavers, they have several playmakers. Again, Xander Lefevre, we talked about him. Other guys involved. They've got outstanding wideouts in Mikey Crawford, Dante Green, and certainly Dorian McGee. These guys are all aggressive, and they have a pretty solid offensive line as well. So I think they're a fundamentally sound team. And I think their linemen, guys like Mitchell, Snowden, Silver, Lillard, it's a solid offensive line. And I think should Lefevre try to pass, that he will be given time.
I wanted to bring up something. I wanted to get your opinion on something. The left-handed quarterback. Last time I checked, there's not a left-handed quarterback in the National Football League. And you talked about the game gets played differently because the natural rollout is in the opposite direction.
Yep.
So your best offensive lineman isn't where he usually is to protect the backside. They move him to the other side.
It hasn't been that long, I believe, that Pittsburgh went against one, to be honest with you, the young man down in Miami. But they are certainly a rare breed. Isn't Tua left-handed, number 1? The Dolphins quarterback.
At this point, I don't even know if he knows.
Yeah, I believe he is. But
is he?
But yeah, and again,
how often? But think about that. How often does that happen? And you're talking about a kid that came out of Alabama. Guys get changed because that's an easier. It's like a left-footed kicker. It's way easier.
We're going to take a break for the national anthem here on Beaver County Radio.
Choose your path at Community College of Beaver County and start learning for real life at a realistic cost. CCBC's 2-year degree programs get you trained and earning a salary in less time and with less debt. Programs in aviation, nursing, education, process technology, criminal justice, and more will prepare you for a real future. You belong here. Apply now or learn more at ccbc.edu.
When Mary arrived for her second visit, she opened my door and danced from the door to my front desk with this huge smile on her face. And then she just started bawling. She starts to tell me that it was the first time in 12 years that she felt relief. And then I started to well up.
That's Dr. Sean Ritchie of Tri-State Neuropathy Centers. And Mary Danced In is just one of his thousands of success stories.
Peripheral neuropathy, if I can explain it in terms that they feel it, it's like if you would sit on your foot and your foot falls asleep, you start to tap it and it comes back to life. Or their foot never comes back to life. It's always feeling that numbness, that pins and needles, that tingling, and it just never goes away. So Mary comes in, proceed to hear that she's had this for 12 years. Got to the point where she was about to go into a walker. 2 days later, she's dancing.
For your free consultation, call 724-940-9000. That's 724-940-9000. Or go to marydancedin.com.
I'm Dr. Sean Ritchie, and I'm teaming up with Dr. Jared Yevans to bring hope to the neuropathy sufferers in Beaver.
You're listening to high school football here on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live and the Trib High School Sports Network. We are at Reeves Field for Western Beaver, the Golden Beavers, against the Tigers of Beaver Falls in a Midwestern Athletic Conference game. What we want to do is set the table for other games in the Valley here. If you just joined us, this game's going to start a little bit later than 7 p.m. due to the nature of senior night and some of the other pregame festivities at Beaver Falls. But the bottom line, this is a Class 2 MAC game, Western Beaver, Beaver Falls. Other games of interest on our sister station on 1460 WMBA and 95.7 FM. It will be Central Valley versus Aliquippa at Freedom. Also in 4A in the Parkway, Montour's at West Allegheny, Newcastle's at Blackhawk, and Chartiers Valley visits Ambridge. Those teams all questing. It seems like Blackhawk and Montour have the playoffs locked, but there's still football to be played. In AAA, Quaker Valley visits Avonworth. Quaker Valley's at the bottom of that conference, the Western Hills. Avonworth's at the top. In a game with playoff implications, as we like to say, and this is a 7:30 kickoff, Hopewell visits Beaver. The winner of that game will be in good shape. Also in the MAC tonight, Freedom is across the bridge over here at New Brighton. Riverside's across the other bridge over there at Elwood City. And Neshannock and Mohawk square off in Lawrence County. In Single A, the Rams play each other, Southside at Rochester. And then the Battle of 15108 involves Cornell at Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. Our Lady of the Sacred Heart lost its prized quarterback early last week in a huge loss to Bishop Canavan, so we'll see how that plays out against the Raiders. Other teams, Moon is in our area. They're at Baldwin, and then there's other scores out there we'll talk about in the Falcones of Moon Township Ford wrap-up show that have effect on the standings of our local teams. And also, Eddie, Philadelphia at Houston tonight in Game 1 of the World Series.
Wait a minute, baseball still going on?
Yes, indeed. It's good to have an indoor facility as they do in Houston.
Well, it's also good to have the signs stolen as they did in Houston a couple Super or World Series ago, too.
Yeah, but I think they're beyond that and ready to play ball. The question is, can they keep Bryce Harper and the Phillies offense at bay?
Do you find it almost painful? Because I love baseball. I grew up, my dad played it, I played it. I love the game. Is it like tuning in and seeing the prom that you weren't invited to? When you watch the playoffs, because you see some phenomenal baseball.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's pretty good stuff. And I believe Verlander's pitching tonight against Nola. But Beaver Falls has just come through its gauntlet of cheerleaders to our right, the end zone closest to Beaver Falls. And fairly shortly we're going to have our coin toss. The clock is frozen at 12 minutes on the clock, so we really can't speculate to our listeners how long it will be till this game kicks off. But they generally put 3 minutes on there to stretch, but we haven't seen that 3-minute stretch yet, nor have we seen a coin toss. So we're going to hang in there for a little bit longer before this one gets on. I guess what we'll do is we'll throw it back to our good friend Matt Durzik at the studio, and he'll direct it from there. You're listening to the best in high school football on Beaver County Radio, which includes Facebook Live, 1230 WBVP, 99.3 FM, and the Trib High School Sports Network. Back in a moment.
Insurance doesn't adequately describe what we sell. This is Bill Laughlin from Laughlin Insurance Agency. Sure, affordable insurance is the means that allow us to do it, but we really provide at the Laughlin Insurance Agency is peace of mind. It's true, worrying about risk can take the fun and joy out of almost everything. We see every day how having peace of mind can lead to more enjoyment, which, last time we checked, is a fairly priceless commodity. Make life more enjoyable. Visit LaughlinInsAgency.com.
Have peace of mind that when an emergency strikes, we'll be there. That's why a Medic Rescue membership is so important. Medic Rescue has been Beaver County's #1 provider of emergency medical care and transport services for over 40 years. Our trained paramedics and emergency medical technicians are knowledgeable, experienced, and can evaluate emergencies quickly and accurately so that you get the life-saving care you need. Get the comfort that comes with a Medic Rescue membership. Call today, 724-728-3621. Medic Rescue, caring for our community.
Welcome back as we're getting fairly near the opening kickoff, and one of the first signs of that is the coin toss. Out there, for the coin toss for Western Beaver is Skylar Silver, their massive 6'1", 270 offensive lineman. And I believe Lefevre is out there as a captain as well, in addition to Levi Gray, a coach's son, and one of the final Gray brothers. Beaver Falls in its orange jerseys with white trim, and it appears that Beaver Falls did win the toss, and I would imagine they'll take the football, which they generally do when they win the toss. So they'll go on offense first here. Let's try to identify the BF captains. Out there is Connor Palucci, their center, wearing jersey 7-1, listed at 6'0", 300. Brickner is out there. Singleton is a captain as well as Isaiah Aschenbacher. So the Beaver Falls does win the toss. We want to mention tonight's officials, the referee, Thomas Wasco, the umpire, Dave Costa, linesman, Chris Manning, line judge, Kenneth Buckley, the back judge, Timothy Edwards, and the side judge is Michael Clark Polner, a good local crew. They have people ready, and let's take a look, Eddie, about 12 or so minutes behind our listed broadcast time. We're ready for football.
That's not a bad, I mean, how many seniors got introduced? You had the senior football players, you had the senior cheerleaders, you had all the senior band members, all of their family members got introduced. It's a wonderful, it's one of those nights that you're going to remember 20 years from now. Hey, you remember walking out on the field senior night?
No doubt about it.
12 minutes, worth the 12 minutes.
In Beaver Falls, this isn't Beaver Falls playing 15 yards off the ball. So that's because the ball was first spotted at the 35. So that's somewhat, that's where the ball will be spotted tomorrow night when we broadcast Bethany at Geneva on Beaver County Radio. Kickoff will be from the 35 in a college game.
Do you think that the referee realized it, or do you think the kicker said, "Hey, psst"?
We don't have it. Well, I thought we had the mic wrong mic'd up. Well, the ref mic'd up. But there's a kick. It's not particularly deep. Beaver Falls fields it at its own 25, and it looks like Singleton has it, and he is driven out of bounds on the sideline. Singleton, again, an experienced performer in both basketball and football as well as track and field. Or I should say it was Demetrius Taylor who came up with it. He is 6'4", 175. He is listed as a tight end to complement the wideouts that BF has. So now we are into football here on Beaver County Radio. Glad to have you along. Besides Eddy Crow, this is Bruce Fry, and BF takes over its own 43-yard line, 1st and 10. Brickner, the left-handed quarterback, gets ready for the snap. He's under center. Did Western jump? No. But the handoff is given, and it looks like it was Singleton carrying the football to the inside. Beaver Falls had 3 backs in their offensive set in that situation, and it was Western Beaver coming up with a stop at nearly the point of attack. He was able to fall forward and pick up a couple, Eddie.
They did jump. They didn't jump far enough because the player that got too excited, first play of the game maybe for him, he was in the secondary, so he jumped, but he didn't get close enough. 2.5, 3 yards on the run.
2nd and 7 for BF on the Geneva logo. Here comes some trickery. It's an inside-out play, a great carry up the middle. This is going to go untouched for a touchdown.
Oh, my.
It's going to be Singleton all the way. Singleton, according to my hieroglyphics, goes 54 yards for a touchdown. Eddie, let's describe the play. The quarterback turns his back to the line of scrimmage, fakes a handoff to the right side, brings Singleton back to the left side. Eddie, it's what we call a flag football touchdown, because if that was flag football, nobody would have grabbed his flag.
No one was in 6 feet. By the time the second fake handoff happened, Western Beaver had over-pursued. Once he hit the line of scrimmage and turned it upfield, there literally no Western Beaver defender within 5 yards.
Right.
Past secondary, it was over.
He was running right at the goal. It was very similar to the run out onto the field where you run between the cheerleaders. It was just the other end of the field. And this is a fake, and it's a play to the side. It's run that is stopped short by Western Beaver. Deshaun Anderson, the carrier there. And so we're going to take a break. We're going to throw it back to the studio. And Matt Durzik, you're listening to Best in High School Football on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live. Beaver Falls leads Western Beaver 6-0 in the first period.
Xander.
It's football season, and if you can see the Aquaman of Beaver County heading deep on a fly route to the end zone, it shouldn't surprise you. This is Jim Riggio, the Aquaman of Beaver County from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Why, you ask? It's obvious. Going deep or the full distance for our customers, no matter what we are up against, is in our game plan. Now, what isn't quite so simple is getting my web feet into a pair of those cleats. This is the Aquaman from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. And looky here, I'm wide open, that is, to doing whatever it takes to serve you. Click bfwater.net.
Hey, how would you like to have a little extra cash to sock away this time of the year? Or how about Christmas cash for your stocking? This is Cindy from Friendly Federal Credit Union. Well, whether you wear socks or stockings, we will have you dancing on your tippy toes in that footwear with our holiday loan special. Borrow up to $3,000 from just 3% for 30 months for a limited time with approved credit. Click friendlyfcu.org, member NCUA, equal housing lender.
Ambridge is beating Chart here.
And Beaver Falls kicks off. The ball is fielded by Western Beaver before they're driven out of bounds here on Senior Night at Beaver Falls. Connor Hauser was the kickoff for BF. Eddie, you mentioned that in the break. Beaver Falls is one of those teams, when you're in some of these levels of 2A and 1A, you have schools that don't have a soccer team, so you can't just go and employ a striker from your soccer team. You've got to find an actual kicker. Hauser's doing that job on kickoffs for BF. Now this is Western's first possession, 1st and 10 from their own 33. Lefevre fakes. He wants to throw. Nobody's open, and I believe that he throws it into the turf, realizing it would have been a loss.
That was an intentional in the ground. He had a receiver, but the receiver was covered. If it is a completion, they're going to lose 2 or 3 yards.
No question. And spearheading the
see, that's senior leadership. That's senior recognition. That's making the best no-throw decision.
Damian Lee, the nose tackle for Beaver Falls, he helped spearhead the Tigers' attack on that surge. So now it's 2nd and 10 out of the shotgun. It's a handoff. I believe that's Florence down there with the carry for Western Beaver.
Good for 4 or 5. Easy, straight up the middle.
Yes, so it winds up being 3rd and medium, or we'll say 3rd and 6 for Western Beaver. Let's see how their formation. Florence is the lone setback, wearing jersey number 5. Lefevre whispers into his ear, and it is a passing set. Although they take it inside, it's going to be Gray Aaron Smith, but he stopped short of the downs. That's going to bring up 4th and 3, which I would imagine is a punting situation.
Yeah, this early in the game, especially after what does Mike Tomlin call? You just gave up a splash play?
Yes.
Take a deep breath and do a little field position work, yes.
4th and 4. Levi Gray is a veteran senior. He's the long snapper for Western. And Lefevre, I believe, is still the punter. He's done that for, I believe, a number of years at Western. But it's Beaver Falls anticipating the punt at about the 30. And Lefevre does get rid of it.
Good punt.
Yes, it does. It drives back Deshaun Anderson, and it goes out of bounds down near the orange BF logo at the 20-yard line, although it did have a little bit of bounce to it, so they're going to push it back. Eddie, I'm saying right around the 30.
I'm going to say around the 30, but that was a good kick because you didn't have to deal with the run back. You got field position switch. You were on your own side of the field. Now you've got them pushed back. It gives you a chance to look up and say, okay, we've got 70 yards to defend. Let's sort this out. No more big plays. That we talked earlier about the mind of a goalie being able to forget.
Short memory.
Short memory is important right now for Western Beaver.
Full backfield, Beaver Falls. Handoff goes inside For my money, it is. It was not Singleton that time. The running back was Bricks Rawl. Bricks Rawl gets forward progress of about 1 yard. Rawl is a 5'8", 180-pound fullback. He's a junior. However, Western was ready for him on the inside. Eli Cooper, the linebacker, came in for the stop. So it's now 2nd and 9.
Everybody in tight again. No one split out too wide. Motion.
Brickner takes it himself and veers off to the right side. Actually, a pretty good pickup of about 4. I would imagine it's going to be 3rd and 5. Western with good pursuit to the outside. Florence was in among the tacklers, as was Eli Cooper.
Western did a good job. They won the line of scrimmage that forced the run outside, and Brickner was quick enough to still get the corner turned a little bit. So what is behind the sticks? Is it 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4? They're 3rd and 5.
I'll say 4, but either way.
Near the sticks.
How about 3rd and 13 feet? We'll see how that plays.
Oh, no, now I got to convert it.
Direct snack, okay, and it goes. Singleton takes it to the outside. He's got an ability to break one here, too. He's down the left sideline, cuts back. He's into Western Beaver territory at the 31, so that's essentially going to go down as a 33-yard pickup for Singleton, rushing around the left end.
That's a simple play. They didn't try and fool anybody. They just pitched it to Singleton. He beat everybody to the corner. They did have the angle on him. He tried to cut back inside, but for a brief moment, you saw space and you thought, oh, no, here comes another one. Still a huge play. The field just got flipped back from the decent punt.
Beaver Falls at the Western Beaver 32, 7.5 to play roughly in this first period. We did have a little bit of late delay. Brickner straight up the middle on the direct snap.
Good tackle.
I believe that was it was Florence with the tackle. And he comes up with the play. Actually, 5 and 6. It was DeAndre Moy, the defensive back, coming up out of the secondary to make the stop.
If he doesn't come up and get to Brickner before that cut, that's a good 5 or 10 or maybe even more. That was a great, important tackle.
Right. Well, that's where you start on August 18th, Eddie, is one-on-one tackling drills in the open field. And that time, Western won the battle. 2nd and 10, Brickner in the shotgun, looks one way, left-handed toss over the middle, wide open as a receiver, and it is going to go down. It's going to be 1st and goal. It's D'Italian Beaufort with the reception. He comes out. I don't believe he was a wideout. He was lined up as a running back and came through the middle of the field.
He came through the middle, and the secondary lost him. The only reason he didn't score a touchdown, the pass was a hair underthrown. He had to wait for it. That allowed the defenders to come back.
A minor adjustment, if you will.
There you go.
Yes, but it's 1st and goal at the 3. 6:40 on a running clock, first period. Beaver Falls, if you're familiar with Reeves, they're driving towards the scoreboard here at Reeves Field. Brickner under center, and there's a power move straight ahead. Beaver Falls wants it to be a touchdown, but I don't think forward progress is into the end zone.
Here comes the line judge with one hand up instead of 2. That means it ain't in. I'm marking it, fellas.
That's for sure. Beaver Falls is certainly in a situation. And Eddie, let's tell our listeners what we're seeing. The back nose of the football is on the 1-yard line, so it's 2nd and less than a yard to go for a touchdown.
So about 2 feet to go by your conversion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and again, Rawls is in. If Brickner goes straight ahead, he'll take it in. Brickner is clearly in for a touchdown. So with 5:54 to play, it's now Beaver Falls leading Western 12-0. And Eddie, I would imagine that we would see. I don't see any evidence of a kicker here. I would imagine a 2-point attempt.
I didn't see a kicker come out, and I don't see anyone coming out now.
No, just one more tailback.
You're in a wonderful position if you've got to go for 2 to have the athletes in the secondary and the ball handlers a decent call play. You've got a shot at it.
Deshaun Anderson is back there at tailback. Beaufort is back there at tailback. Out directly under center is Brickner. He gives it to Anderson, and Anderson.
Yep.
Let's see. What's the call?
He made it.
He's in.
All on his own because first contact came about 2 yards short of the line. He drugged the tackler in.
No question about it. So the Beaver Falls scoring drive takes 3 minutes and 10 seconds, I should say. It's culminated by a 1-yard Brickner run, then a 3-yard Anderson conversion. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Best in High School Football here on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live, where the score is Beaver Falls 14, Western Beaver 0.
We've got scores over here.
Choose your path at Community College of Beaver County and start learning for real life at a realistic cost. CCBC's 2-year degree programs get you trained and earning a salary in less time and with less debt. Programs in aviation, nursing, education, process technology, criminal justice, and more will prepare you for a real future. You belong here. Apply now or learn more at ccbc.edu.
That was the first one. That's the latest one. That was 11 minutes ago. So sure.
Back to live action. It's a fake reverse on the kickoff. Florence fielded the kickoff, suggested with his body language that he was going to toss it back to Mikey Crawford on a reverse. He kept going from his right to his left, and he winds up at the 35-yard line. So you can't use the word urgent quite yet, Eddie, but there certainly is some urgency for Western Beaver to move the football here.
Probing, looking for something for a spark. 14-0 down that quick. Yeah, you look for something. That was a positive play. It wasn't full-blown good, but
Lefevre carries it himself. He'll come up with more than 5 yards on first down. So that's the best play of the night offensively for Western Beaver. Again, that's all part of being a fourth-year quarterback. He's able to take the direct snap, acknowledge where he believes is a good hole, and try to get through it.
He saw a gap. First contact was about 3 yards deep. He did well to see the gap and make the play. And the right side of the Western Beaver line did a really good job shielding off to give him space.
As we see Western at its own 41-yard line, it's time to hand off. Florence gets the carry. He's spun around and winds up with maybe a little bit of gain. The stop made by Samari McCoy, 6'3", 265, defensive lineman, specifically left defensive end.
The yard he got was the spin when he got spun down.
Yeah, pretty much so.
Yeah.
They are right on, if you're familiar with Reeves, they are right on the G, Eddie, in Geneva College. So that shows that they're close to midfield, although they're actually at the 43-yard line. But this is a huge play for Western. They were 3-and-out the first series. They're down 14-0, and they want to come up with an ability to move the football.
You want to believe you can do it.
Lefevre's the money man. He takes it and heads to the sideline, picks up the downs. And what makes that helpful, Eddie, is that when you're carrying the football towards the visiting sideline, that's where the actual orange sticks are. So you have a very good perception of what you have to do to make the down.
He did a great job. There was nothing. I think that play was meant to go inside left. There was nothing. He instantly recognized and cut it wide, and his speed got the first down.
So it's 1st and 10, Western Beaver, their first down of the evening. Florence to the inside, is coming to the right side. He's met at the line of scrimmage.
Good run.
Yeah, Eddie, you saw what I saw. He was met by quite a few orange jerseys, but managed to slide through them.
He got through the first two that had him locked up, and then they didn't, and then spun away. I love seeing a running back get 5 yards. I love it more when they get 4 yards after the first hit.
Yep, and again from our Frey Transportation Instant Update desk on our sister station, Aliquippa leads Central Valley 6-0 in the first in a much ballyhooed matchup of defending state champions. Now it goes around the other way, an inside sweep for Western Beaver. Great yardage through the point of attack.
Flag.
There is a flag down, and that's before it could have been a late hit. But Aaron Smith, the 5'11", 185-pound junior, takes it as a wingback and heads from right to left. It's in the area where you often see holding against the offensive team. We'll see how that pans out as the officials go to sort things out. Thomas Wasco, again, is in charge of the group, assisted by Dave Costa and the rest.
Personal foul.
Yes, and it's against Western. So all that yardage is going to come back.
That makes a coach crazy. When you're struggling and you get something good, to have to go back up, because now that's going to set where they marking it off to.
Well, we'll let the officials step that off because they saw it's from the point of the infraction, so it's wherever they believe it took place. It winds up going back to the 45-yard line of Western, which means it'll be second and about 12. I should say third and about 12 for the Golden Beavers. But the bottom line is that they're going to have to make some progress. Florence takes it. He's going to run to the short side, picks up a block, and actually comes up with considerable yardage back into Beaver Falls territory.
Beaver Falls safety actually saved a touchdown. He was the last one. That was a great run to kick it out and find space.
That was Eschenbacher.
Now, he's just saved a touchdown and saved a first down. It's going to give him, looks like, about 3 yards to get to the first down.
We've talked about Jared Brickner as a quarterback. He is also the right cornerback defensively for Beaver Falls. A huge play again for Western, 3rd and 4 in Beaver Falls territory. Quick screen to the outside, and there's a completion, and it's actually additional yardage picked up by Levi Gray, the coach's son. So Gray was very solid fundamentally. And Eddie, he did the thing that receivers have to learn, is when you're wide open in the flat there and you're ready to head downfield, what is the first thing you do?
Catch the ball.
Right. I agree.
We all see that green. It's beautiful. We turn into cows appreciating the pasture, but you got to have the ball to appreciate the pasture.
Levi Gray, fundamentally sound, makes the reception, heads down the field, first down Western. Florence with a bounce pass play to the outside, breaks the tackle. That's a first down. And Eddie, you talked about it before, the so-called yards after contact. Eddie, if that's an 11-yard run, 10 were after contact.
He had contact getting through the line. Looked like a bit of an arm tackle, but the last 3 yards came from just a straight shift, way shifty side to side when he's got guys coming in on him. That was a great run.
Yeah, we should also tell our listeners the ball's now being hiked from the left hash mark so that Lefevre has the ability to roll right to a wide side if he chooses. But no, they throw it back to Gray on the short side. Gray catches it, makes one man miss, and is driven out of bounds in the so-called red zone, though. Driven out of bounds at about the 18. Eddie, we talk about winning the battle of first down, which is getting 5 or more. Well, Western just won the battle of first down.
And that makes them feel good because you look up and, you're down 14-0. If you've got the ball and you're getting first downs, one of the great attributes, or one of the great things about that, besides you scoring, they can't score because they're not on offense. Don't talk about picks. Bad luck.
Shotgun for Lefevre. He takes it straight up the middle, dodges, jumps over a tackler. They string it out, and he is finally taken out of bounds by Aschenbacher in a situation where you had Beaver Falls' jersey number 4 tackling Western Beavers' jersey number 4.
You had him jumping straight up out of a tackle. If that tackle gets made, that play loses 4 yards.
But instead, it's first down, Western Beaver. Not quite first and goal, though. The ball's at the 12-yard line. We can't really call it first and goal. It's first and 10, Western Beaver from the 12-yard line.
First and 10 plus 6 feet.
No doubt about it. So they're going to do the best they can. Now this is double motion, but it's before the snap, so it's good. Florence is going to break to the left side again. He's met. He does carry a few tackles forward, but it's still Beaver Falls with good lateral pursuit there.
That double motion was to get 2 more blockers in front of where that was supposed to go. One of the 2 blockers got their job accomplished. The other blocker is responsible for the guy that made the tackle.
Samari McCoy again at 6'3", 265, showing good agility because he is the left defensive end. He shot across to the right side to make a tackle.
Chased it down.
Yes, that's for sure.
At 265.
Right, you don't see that every day of the week. So that's part of what makes Beaver Falls a tough team defensively. Western now, it looks like Lefevre is on the far sideline talking to the official. And there is a stoppage of play. I would imagine Western calls timeout.
Yep.
We're going to take a break. You're listening to the best in high school football on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
I'm Tiani, and I'm equipped.
Hi, I'm Gabby, and I'm a Bobcat. I'm Susie, and I'm a Bobcat.
Hi, I'm Natalie.
And I'm Grace.
And we're Vikings.
Hi, I'm Dominique, and I'm equipped.
This is Daniel from Hopewell, a proud Viking. Well, it's true that when it's game time, we might be on different sides. It's the other team that we are all part of. A team that will make a real difference once the season is over. That's because we are all training for a very long and profitable postseason at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center.
For 45 years now, the Beaver County Career and Technology Center has been creating top-notch performers from all local Beaver County high schools. Our spirited recruits have made the starting lineup and performed like all-stars in many different fields.
Why not join our team? Visit bcctc.org, celebrating 45 years as the best place to start a career. The Beaver County Career and Technology Center.
Back to live action here at Reeves. 2nd and 7 for Western. They fake it to Florence, take it back to the inside, but that goes for no gain. Beaver Falls sniffed that out and came up with a situation where they bring the ball carrier to a halt for actually a loss of 2, so it's 3rd and 10. Again, Western got down to the 12-yard line, so it wasn't 1st and goal. It was 1st and 10 from the 12, and now it's 3rd and 10 from the 12 to repeat. Ball being snapped from the left hash mark, so should 4-year starting quarterback Xander Lefevre of Western choose to roll out, he'll have room to the right. He does have 2 wideouts to his right. They send a man in motion to the right. Here's the snap.
And here's the whistle.
How about too much time? I think that might have taken a while to materialize.
Motion.
Although it's instead false start.
You can always tell the body language of the quarterback.
Yep.
You instantly saw the
That's for sure. So it winds up being a disappointment. Eddie, the change, as Lefevre looks to the sideline, what we don't know is will Western Beaver, sometimes you just pull out a different play of the playbook. When the difference from 3rd and 12, or I should say 3rd and 10 to 3rd and 15 is dramatic. Let's see what Western's adjustment is. 3rd and 15 Western from the 17-yard line of Beaver Falls. Motion man again, double wideouts. Big pass rush, though. BF blitz. Lefevre shakes it off, though. Now he's scrambling. He rolls back against his body into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown. Mikey Crawford picks one out of thin air. 6'3", 165. That ball, Eddie, let's tell her this is what we saw. That ball had hang time. You could not accuse that. And again, Lefevre was rolling to his left. He's a right-handed quarterback. He throws the ball in the sky, and it floats into the end zone for a touchdown.
He got chased all the way to the left sideline, got turned around, threw a back across his body to the middle of the field. All things that you're never supposed to do.
Yep.
And the Western Beaver receiver went up and got it.
Yeah, and a couple Beaver Falls defensive backs were there.
They were close.
Yeah, they just seemed mesmerized by the whole play and didn't really respond. Now Western's going to try for 2. Lefevre in a shotgun, 3 wideouts to his right. He looks over, slant over the middle. Levi Gray hauls it in, and suddenly we have a ball game. It's Beaver Falls 14, Western Beaver 8. You're listening to the best in high school football on Beaver County Radio, 1230 AM, 99.3 FM, Facebook Live, and the Trib High School Sports Network.
Hi, this is Bob Barrickman here for Frey Transportation. When it comes to school buses in Beaver County, it sure is hard not to notice the shiny Frey Transportation fleet. Frey Transportation has been a local family-owned Beaver County business for over 30 years. As any successful football team must be dependable and reliable, these same qualities have made Frey Transportation a champion operation. Best wishes to all local teams and safe travels to the gridirons this season. From your friends at Frey Transportation.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. I'm Rick Cropper with Tri-State Waters, and we deliver everywhere in the Tri-State area. Some even say our service is out of this world. Well, I'm not sure about that, but Tri-State Waters does deliver to Moon, Mars, and everywhere in between. No matter what direction your home or business is, we'll deliver and let you fall in love with your waterman too. Call Tri-State Waters at 724-774-4644.
The kick.
Back to live action. A kickoff fielded by Anderson of Beaver Falls.
Fumble.
And there's a loose football that we'll look to the officials to see if the ground caused it or if it's actually a turnover. But there's not really any celebration. It appears that BF will take over. And that also is the end of the first quarter. Western Beaver scored with 2 seconds left in the period. So we're going to take another break. You're listening to the best in high school football on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, a law firm of AV-rated attorneys and super lawyers. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, helping you put your life back together. Attorney Joe George.
You worry about getting better. You worry about taking care of the medical side of things. We'll take care of all the legal side. I don't want you worrying about whether a letter needs to go out to an insurance company. You worry about getting to your doctor's appointments. You worry about getting your physical therapy appointments. You worry about getting better. If you have to have surgery, you worry about take you back and forth to the surgical center or the hospital. And all those things, I try to put my client at ease from the standpoint of, look, this is where things are going to go. You just worry about getting there on your side of things.
For your initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
Welcome back to Beaver Falls, where Beaver Falls on the first snap of the second period. Brickner takes it, hands off, inside carry. I believe that was Anderson, but it winds up being Rawl, Bricks Rawl with the carry. He picks up 3 on the inside dive, and Beaver Falls now is looking at 2nd and 7.
Beaver Falls offensive line got a really good push off of that play. Let's see if they stick with that. They're lined up the same.
Second man through is stopped by Western Beaver as there's contact right at the line of scrimmage. It's Rawl again with the carry. They use him again on a quick hitter after a fake to the outside. Very near the midfield stripe. We'll say it's at the 48.5 of Beaver Falls as they strive to get into Western Beaver territory to pick up the sticks. 3rd and 4. And Eddie, this is almost like a wild card. You can pass it, you can run it. This is
when you have weapons, you have problems for the other side. And when you have manageable field position, which for the weapons of Beaver Falls, 3rd and 4 is perfectly manageable, you got a plan for everything.
Brickner in a shotgun. Let's see how it handles. A fairly tight situation. Brickner takes it himself. He's got the first down and more. Shoots up a little, bounces off a tackle. He's going to take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Beaver Falls. A 51-yard pickup. He was at his own 49. He took it 51 yards to the house. Eddie, that's a nice, safe way to pick up the first down.
You need 4 yards or you need 51, Coach? What do you need? He ran past the first line of defense. He ran over 2 people trying to tackle him. A third Western Beaver player had an angle.
Well,
Brickner leaned in and looked for him to make contact with him to knock him offline, and then scored.
Yeah, well, again, a defensive back from Western Beaver came up and gave him a shoulder shot.
Right.
And that's the one you mentioned. That's the one he bounced off of. And after that was the last contact by Western Beaver.
Now, going to talk about coaching cliches. What's the term? Wrap up?
Yep, and here we go. Here comes a carry to the right side, and Singleton's in for a 2-point conversion. So Beaver Falls responds to Western Beaver's touchdown with one of its own. We're a minute and 32 seconds into the second period. Beaver Falls, playing at home on senior night, leads Western Beaver 22-8, and you're listening on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
Have you ever thought about where the football team would be without the quarterback? They probably wouldn't fare very well at all. Going through life with dental problems can be similar. That's because so much of what we do and how we interact and entertain with others is dependent upon good dental hygiene. If dental conditions have you sidelined, start by calling the right signals with dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip. Visit lipdentistry.com. Dr. C. Timothy Lip, your family dentist on College Hill and Robinson Township.
Well, that's the same thing here.
Yeah,
he has limited range, but that's for those guys.
If you can beat guys' brains in, you can get away with that. When it gets this part of the year, when it gets to the playoff, you ain't going to be able to get two.
Fully. We say that all the time on the air.
Welcome
back. Here's the Beaver Falls kickoff. It's straight up. It's a 9-9. Fair catch called for and drop. Oh, Western Beaver dropped the kickoff.
They'll lose.
I think they're going to lose possession, Eddie. We'll put our binoculars on it. But the kick was so high, it was a 9-iron shot, to use a golf term, but it was dropped by Western Beaver. Let's see who Western retains possession.
Then they fought for it. It was so high, he couldn't see it out of the darkness.
Dorian McGee drops that kickoff, and it winds up falling to the turf, but he had the presence of mind to pounce on it before the orange-shirted kickoff coverage unit could convert.
I don't think that was a 9-iron shot. I think that was more one of them 56, 60-degree wedges.
Well, yeah, with the open face, no question.
Oh, yeah, open it up and get underneath it good.
31-yard line for Western Beaver. It's been a prolific scoring game thus far. 30 points, and here comes Florence. Florence's break gets to the outside, shows good speed, cuts back, and then winds up being tackled, but not before he picks up, 19 plus 21, 42 yards, we'll say 43 yards now that they stretch it off, to the Beaver Falls 25. So a 43-yard pickup for Florence, and he takes it into Beaver Falls territory. Good pursuit by Beaver Falls' secondary defensively to keep him from going all the way.
It was pursuit from the offside that cut the angle. He had already beaten the guy chasing him. The pursuit cut him down slow enough.
Now it's the shotgun for Lefevre. Fakes it, but he's hemmed in. He shakes and bakes, but still, Eddie, I think can pick up no more than 2 on the play.
He made the correct decision because he had the option to hand it off. The running back was getting tackled before he handed off. Again, we talk about senior decisions. That was a senior decision. Hang on to it, get what you can, get a couple. That was way better than what was going to happen.
Aschenbacher making the stop for Beaver Falls from his linebacking outpost.
And you know what the kicker said when he went back there? He's like, Coach, I did that on purpose. I made him fumble.
No doubt about it. You never know what was whispered into his ear before the kick either.
As a former kicker, I got every excuse possible. Let me know.
Well, it's shotgun for Lefevre. Inside carry, and it's going to be met by Beaver Falls, but he's able to get outside of that is Aaron Smith. So Aaron Smith with that effective inside-out wingback handoff. However, Beaver Falls has the team speed to shut it down and have good lateral pursuit, keeping it to essentially a no-yard gain.
They did a great job stringing it out. Every time the running back looked for a place to cut up, another orange jersey was coming in. There were 5 or 6 defenders that strung it out all the way to the sideline. It had to be all the way to the sideline.
So Western Beaver will try to continue its drive, 3rd and 10. Ball hikes from the left hash mark. Let's see if Lefevre might roll out. He's chased. He's flushed out. Beaver Falls brings in pressure. Lefevre is tackled on a brilliant shoestring tackle on the short side of the field by Michael Blackshear. We talked about Blackshear is an outstanding sprint athlete for Beaver Falls in track and field season. He showed good lateral pursuit to stop the play.
I'm looking. It looks like it's going to be 4th and 7 or 8. That tackle may have saved a first down.
Oh, quite simply. I would have to believe that.
There was space.
Right, yeah. We saw no orange jerseys anywhere. Big situation for Western. Again, Western Beaver tied with Mohawk at 4-2 within the MAC. This is the final game of the regular season. A punt is a waste of time effectively, and a field goal is beyond question. So they're going to show wides to the right side. Now, I think it's too much time, unless they called timeout in the meantime. Let's see. There's delay of game on Western Beaver, so they did not. The play clock to our left continued to trickle down, and it winds up delay of game on Western. So the pre-snap penalties are tough to handle.
That's going to take it from, 4th and...
Well, yeah, 4th and 8th to 4th and 13. So
do you consider maybe, I started to say, do you maybe consider punt and play the field position game rather than try and get...
I would say not against Beaver Falls and their explosive offense.
True.
You're in a pinball game. You're trying to score as much as they do. Lefevre drops back to pass. He's chased out of the pocket. He still throws, lobs one over the middle, and it's broken up. Great defensive pressure in the secondary. Certainly no contact, and Beaver Falls successfully defends the pass, and they'll wind up with the football 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Defensive back had him all the way. You used the sideline as a defender.
Yeah, and for my money was jersey number 21, Zashawn McKelvey,
had him.
5'8", 155, with good position. And so that ball is turned over on downs by the Golden Beavers. Bringing Beaver Falls to the line of scrimmage for its second possession of the second period. They scored on their first one. This time it's under center. Third man through, and the carry goes for about 4 yards. The one thing you can say, Eddie, is they certainly had enough blocking support for that whole thing to take place before Anderson finally winds up with the football.
They had enough blocking support, and 1 fake won't mess up the timing. 2 shouldn't, but when you've got to do 2 fakes and then a handoff, everything has to be absolutely perfect, and everybody has to be in their position because you've had about a click and a half for guys to react. Now, the hope is they react to the fake handoff. If they don't, they've had a click and a half to zone in on who's getting it.
Western Beaver pretty much does stay at home. They're able to limit that play. Brickner again under center, sends Singleton in motion. Handoff just gets away in the nick of time, and we'll see what other spot of the football, because that was Rawl again. Rawl is lowering his shoulders and driving his feet, and Eddie, they're going to go along and give him that forward progress to make it a first down Beaver Falls.
He was, what's the old rolling, bumbling, stumbling? He stumbled for about 3 more extra towards the end of that, and that was enough.
Or as they like to say,
rumbling.
Horizontal yardage.
Horizontal.
His body was like parallel to the ground.
Until the
knee was horizontal yardage. Yes.
Until the knee touches, it still counts.
Right. Well, you use that hand to keep the knee from touching. But bottom line, 1st and 10 BF, they're on the march again. Now it's going to go around. Singleton has it. He's got speed. He's in the open field. He has Levi Gray to beat, but Levi Gray makes the tackle, but not before Singleton picks up 31, I want to say, around right end.
It takes it to just inside the 30, and that was a touchdown-saving tackle. He was the last line of defense, and he came over from the left in the back to cover the ground and get there.
And Eddie, if you walked into the stadium and you asked somebody, a fan, who is Beaver Falls' punter, most people would say, I'm really not sure because he hasn't stepped on the field tonight. Beaver Falls has had the touchdown on only three possessions, and this is
the best
4.
punting job ever.
No doubt about it. Nothing was blocked.
That tells you you're doing good.
Brickner's in the shotgun here. They send motion man. Brickner takes it himself, heads up the middle. Western looks for him, doesn't bring him down just yet, and then he's finally brought to the ground at the 15-yard line, but not before he picks up a first down. He is stopped by Dennis Harris at 5'9", 230, a defensive lineman, but it is, I'll say the 16, Eddie. What do you think?
15 and a smidge.
Yes, but it was still about a 14-yard pickup for Brickner, adding to that impressive stat list that he's built up. Over 5,000 yards passing, over 1,000 yards rushing.
Western Beaver is faster than I knew Beaver Falls was fast, but there have been several plays that I've seen Beaver Falls score with that they got chased down here. Western Beaver has speed.
Third man through. It's Anderson again. They love him on that third man. What is called, Eddie, a delay counter, where there's a little bit of a delay and then there's a counter of the two running backs.
See, I couldn't play football today. That's too many words for me. Just point out the number of the guy I'm supposed to go smack, and I could get it.
Well,
down to the 8.
That's the problem for Beaver Falls is when they send multiple guys through, you don't know who you're supposed to smack. So it winds up being second and, I'm going to say 2, deep in Western Beaver territory. 4:26 to go in the half. Beaver Falls leads Western 22-8. These teams are now MAC rivals after meeting in the playoffs the last 2 years. Is Singleton going off to the left side, cuts back to the right before Western brings him back. Xander Lefevre, the quarterback of Western Beaver, playing safety, comes in to make the stop. And actually, I believe that's going to prevent a first down.
That would prevent a first down. Certainly a first down, maybe a touchdown. Lefevre did a great job locking up. Forward progress absolutely stopped.
And Eddie, let's tell our listeners we're in a situation where we have 2 4-year starters at quarterback, but they're also both 4-year starters as defensive back. So these are 2 big guys on their respective teams. We're talking about Jaron Brickner and Xander Lefevre of Western Beaver. Now Brickner's under center. They're going to go straight ahead with Brickner. He's got the sticks and then some. And he made it. He did not quite score, but he pushed the pile back to the 1-yard line.
He was just outside the 8 and needed a couple. They just bulldozed to get that.
First and goal, Beaver Falls. First and goal, and again, Eddie, let's tell our listeners what we're looking at. It's less than a yard. The back end of the football is on the 1-yard line. So it
was close enough where several of the Beaver Falls linemen were signaling touchdown.
Yeah, well, that's all called implied consent. You're trying to influence people. And its significance for Beaver Falls.
What's it called? Implied consent?
Yeah.
I like that.
Brick's Rawl is the lone setback. They use him in these power situations. But Brickner takes it himself. He steps in, does not get tackled. Touchdown Beaver Falls. So, Eddie, the Tigers are 4 for 4 on touchdown drives tonight.
You keep up running numbers like that, maybe you don't need a kicker. And certainly with the potential explosive offense, and if you're Western Beaver right now, you're thinking, we've got some explosive guys, but we're also looking at being down, 20 points? Yeah, 28
pending the extra point attempt here. And again, Rawl, who's a good blocker, he's a good lead blocker in addition to a good short yardage man. So Beaver Falls has options on this extra point attempt, again, from 3 yards out. Brickner is under center. Rawl is the lone setback. Singleton split our way. Anderson to the far side. Now it's motion, but as Rawl's going to take it, in Eddie, he's going to win most of those situations in the open field. When he lowers his shoulder at the 1-yard line, he is generally going to go in.
He's got 3 yards of a head of steam, and if you're a defensive back, that's not a matchup that you're going to be happy with.
Yep, we're going to take a break here. 2:50 to play in the second quarter here at Reeves Stadium on the Geneva College campus. You're listening to the best in high school football on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live, where Beaver Falls leads Western Beaver 30-8.
It might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. Bob Barrickman here for Electric Garage Door Sales in Monaca. Call on Robin and our team of expert installers. Dial 724-774-3200. And your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors and LiftMaster garage door openers. With over 50 years of experience, Robin and her team will get it done right. Give them a call, 724-774-3200, or find them online at electricgarageDoorSales.com.
I'm going to do them before this ball's even snapped. And if Western goes 89 yards, so be it.
Fielded at the 26.
By Florence, number 5.
He was about a half a step and a half a width of a yard on the field from going.
Welcome back to Reeves Field on the campus of Geneva College in Beaver Falls, and Florence with the return on there. Actually a pretty decent return by Tyson Florence. We're going to take a little look at our Frey Transportation Instant Update desk results in a barn burner on 1230 WBVP. It's Aliquippa and Central Valley tied at 14 in the first half. Also in the Parkway, Montour leads West Day 7-3. Char Valley ahead of Ambridge, but Ambridge has come back to make it 21-18. And in the Battle of the Rams, Southside leads Rochester. And in this game, there's a face mask on Beaver Falls on the kickoff that puts Western Beaver into BF territory.
They're going to take the ball at the 36. That was a great run back. He fielded it at the 26 and got it to midfield. He ran about 80 yards, but he got it to midfield. 15 yards.
Lefevre out of the gun, gives it back to Florence. Florence with a nice cutback. He gets off the right tackle, gets through the hole into the second level, and brings it down the 20-yard line. That'll go as a 17-yard pickup for Western Beaver. So the Golden Beavers, even though they've surrendered touchdowns in 4 straight possessions, they're certainly not giving up the ship offensively.
He jogged back, a pulling guard was out there and kept the running back from cutting right. If he gets the right cut, it may go.
Florence gets into the secondary, though, with some nifty footwork. And now Lefevre in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers to the left. Lefevre takes it himself. He'll go nowhere. It was Palucci, among other ones. I'm sorry, not Palucci. Damian Lee, the defensive tackle, in hot pursuit. Lee makes the tackle, so it's a tackle for loss of about 4.5 to 5 yards. So it makes the – and the other thing for Western Beaver, Eddie, the clock's starting to play into it as we're under 2 minutes to play first half.
Sure, you're looking at halftime, and the greatest thing could be you go in and you're, let's say, down 4, down 6. You feel good in spite of the big plays. That play that caused the loss – miscommunication. Somebody did the wrong thing and left the quarterback hanging.
2nd and 15. Lefevre back to throw. Has time. Throws it deep. It's up in the air. Wide open is a receiver. Jump ball situation. And this time the 2 Beaver Falls defenders. Eddie, you mentioned the Beaver Falls coaches talked to the defensive backs after the Western Beaver touchdown. I think the Beaver Falls defensive backs got the message.
Anytime a touchdown gets thrown back across the field and it looks like a punt, your defensive backs coach is going to want to know where you were at and what your assignment was, and it looks like those guys got it figured out. That ball,
Deshaun Anderson was one of the guys back defensively for BF.
That ball floated too.
Yes. So, and again, it's not because Lefevre can't throw. It's because he's getting flushed out of the pocket repeatedly.
He was throwing off his back foot, dodging.
Yes, in desperation. Now it's going to come back to Florence to the left side. Beaver Falls sees it, makes the tackle. It's Aschenbacher again coming up from his outside linebacker position to make the stop. And now, quite clearly, with 1:13 to play in the first half, Western on 4th and 13 doesn't have an awful lot of choices but to throw or I should say to go for it. The clock runs. They're not calling timeout. They do have 2 left, but they're just going to take their time. Play clock's at 17, so they might want to get things moving as Lefevre jogs back to the huddle. But they're certainly going to take a shot at it. 4th and 14 from the 25 of Beaver Falls, but they only have 3 seconds to hike the football here, and they do get it off. No, they don't. See the whistle sound? Beaver County Radio ticked off the time. You know.
I'm watching it, and I see the 3, and I see the quarterback start to cadence.
Listen here. Let's see. Let's see. I believe that Western managed to call time out.
Oh, did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They called time out in the last instance. So, Eddie, I guess we'll keep it here right now. You know, we're at a focal point in the half. We'll tell our listeners what's going on. 36 seconds left effectively in the half. The one thing about Western draining this clock, Eddie, Western's down 30-8. So that if Western doesn't score, at least they're not, Beaver Falls would be 70 yards away from pay dirt with only 30-some seconds. So theoretically, that would ice the clock.
Well, theoretically, it would ice the clock, but it would also frustrate me if we're going to make a play and we're going to try and get a first down. Let's say by the grace of the football gods, we pick up the 13 or 14 yards. We just burned 25 or 30 seconds of our clock. I understand.
They definitely did, yeah. So, yeah, there's as in all lot of aspects of football, there's 2 ways of looking at it. Or what's the old saying? There's your story, there's my story, and there's the truth. It's something like that. But Lefevre's back to pass. He's going to get chased out of the pocket again. He steps up in the pocket. He does throw it off balance again, but it's off the field of play. It's somewhere in the vicinity of Matheny Fieldhouse. So it's a turnover on downs, and with 28 seconds to play in the second period, Beaver Falls will take over. And
here's how you don't feel so bad about not keeping the ball and maybe getting more points. Don't find a way to get Beaver Falls on the scoreboard again with 28 and a half seconds. If that means you put 3 linemen up and everybody else back.
Well, there are quite a few back as you speak, Eddie.
Yeah.
Florence is the safety. Levi Gray is the strong safety. Florence is the strong safety. But Beaver Falls is going to go into the victory, not victory yet, it's only the half. They're in a kneel-down situation. And that is effectively going to end the first half as Dwight Collins, among others, leads Nick Nardone's staff of Beaver Falls coaches off the field. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have our halftime show that features the interview, and we're going to give you a quick rundown of what took place in this first half. It's Beaver Falls 30, Western Beaver 8 on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Trib High School Sports Network. Back in a jiffy.
Choose your path at Community College of Beaver County and start learning for real life at a realistic cost. CCBC's 2-year degree programs get you trained and earning a salary in less time and with less debt. Programs in aviation, nursing, education, process technology, criminal justice, and more will prepare you for a real future. You belong here. Apply now or learn more at ccbc.edu. If you're a parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. I'm Dave Logan with Tri-State Waters, and we deliver everywhere in the Tri-State area. From North Sewickley to South Heights, we deliver from East Liverpool to West Mayfield. We even deliver to the island, well, Neville Island that is. No matter what direction your home or business is, we'll deliver and let you fall in love with your waterman too. Call Tri-State Waters at 724-774-4644.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George. Since 1934, they've been committed to the physical and financial recovery of personal injury victims. Attorney Larry Kelly.
At Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, we have a culture. And that culture is that we're not going to get out-lawyered. We're going to make sure that we know the law as well as anybody. You don't even have an idea what facts are important until you know the law. Once we identify the law, we know what facts will determine the outcome of this case, and then we go out and investigate those facts to make sure that we have a factual pattern that is supported by the law that could lead to a successful outcome for our clients.
For your initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
Welcome back. Along with Eddy Crow, this is Bruce Fry. We're at halftime here at Reeves Field on the campus of Geneva College in Beaver Falls, which will be the site of tomorrow's 7 o'clock PAC game. Bethany Bison visiting the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes. That game will also be heard on Beaver County Radio. Pregame show 6:30. In this one, Beaver Falls has scored on 4 consecutive offensive possessions to go ahead 30-8 over the Golden Beavers of Western Beaver. Real quickly to take a look at it, on the second play of the game, Trey Singleton went 54 yards on an inside handoff. That made it 6-0 Beaver Falls. The next series, it was Jaron Brickner straight ahead on a QB sneak. That was followed by a 2-point conversion to make it 14-0. Western Beaver responded with 2 seconds left in the first period on a floating pass from Xander Lefevre to Mikey Crawford, who picked it out of the sky among BF defenders. So the first period ended 14-8 Beaver Falls. Western Beaver's 2 drives in the second period were both terminated by loss of downs, which meant Beaver Falls had touchdowns on a 51-yard run by Jaron Brickner where he broke several tackles, and then he followed it up with a QB keeper of 1 yard and runs by Trey Singleton and Deshaun Anderson for 2-point conversions, provided the 30-8 margin that we have right now, Eddy Crow.
I think after the end of the first quarter, Western Beaver looked up and said, you know what, we're doing okay. It's a tougher sell after the second quarter because the first quarter, and it's like any contest, early on you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. It can go back and forth. But then when you start establishing a pecking order, I think that's what Beaver Falls did in the second quarter.
Right, what we'll do, we'll run the scores now, then we'll take a break for the Dawn Rebel Chris Harlan interview. For now, in our game, Beaver Falls 30, Western Beaver 8 at Freedom. The widely anticipated battle of defending state champions is knotted at 14 in the second period. Also in the Parkway, Montour 7, West Allegheny 3, and hats off to Sherman McBride and his Ambridge Bridgers. At the moment, they've taken a 25-21 lead over Char Valley. The Battle of the Rams, Southside leads Roche 10-0. And in the Black Hills Conference, Olsh 20, Cornell 7. And in 5A, Moon is leading Baldwin 21-20 at the half. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Best in High School Football on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
Listening to live sports on the radio in Beaver County is a tradition. This is Craig Fontana from Moon Township Ford, and I ought to know. My dad, Bill Fontana, has called games for over 50 years. Beaver County people know a good call when they hear one, and the best call you can make is to buy your next new or used vehicle at Moon Township Ford. Click moontownshipford.net or visit Moon Township Ford on University Boulevard.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
Have peace of mind that when an emergency strikes, we'll be there. That's why a Medic Rescue membership is so important. Medic Rescue has been Beaver County's #1 provider of emergency medical care and transport services for over 40 years. Our trained paramedics and emergency medical technicians are knowledgeable, experienced, and can evaluate emergencies quickly and accurately so that you get the life-saving care you need. Get the comfort that comes with a Medic Rescue membership. Call today, 724-728-3621. Medic Rescue, caring for our community.
Halftime show, week 9 edition on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. 2 quarters of football left in the regular season, and then for some, unfortunately, the season will come to an end. For others, it's getting ready for the WPL playoffs and November football. Chris Harlan joins me as we run down all 6 classifications. I think everybody's familiar now with a lot of the scenarios. We will have these ironed out in the scoreboard show coming up a little bit later on the network. So 6A, North Allegheny and Central Catholic are in. The winner of Cannon McMillan Mount Lebanon is in. Seneca Valley controls their own destiny. If they beat North Allegheny, they are in. If Seneca Valley loses, then that opens the door for scenarios and the abacus.
Yeah, good job by the schedule makers. We basically had 2 play-in games back-to-back. Last week, Central Catholic, Seneca Valley. This week, Lebo, Cannon Mac. So put some drama into the 6A playoff race down the stretch.
Indeed. 5A in the Big East Conference, 2 representatives in, Franklin Regional and Gateway. The Northeast Conference has nobody that has clinched. The winner of the North Hills Pine Richland game is in. If Penn Hills beats Woodland Hills, they are in this evening. In the Allegheny 6, Bethel Park is in Upper St. Clair. If they win, they are also playoff bound. And then, of course, you have the 2 wild cards. Again, depending on what happens in some of these head-to-head games going on as we speak, will either make it a little easier to figure out the wild card or a little tenuous. In fact, there's a scenario where it could come down to the committee tomorrow determining the second wild card.
Yeah, that is. People are going to be worrying about that one for sure. One, to me, I think I'm keeping my eye on Penn Trafford. I think it's interesting, the defending state champions, and they're in jeopardy here. I mean, they're trying to chase down probably one of those wild cards is what they're looking at. But my math I had done, I think there were 54 WPL teams that won a state championship since the state playoffs started. Only 8 of them failed to make the WPL playoffs the next year. Penn Trafford, trying not to be number 9 to not make the playoffs the year after winning a state title.
Yeah, and Mount Lebanon trying not to be number 10 up in 6.
They are. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Penn Trafford would have to get in via a wild card, but they have to win.
Right.
Franklin Regional this evening. All right. Parkway Conference, as we go down to 4A now. Aliquippa, Central Valley, West Allegheny, Montour, Blackhawk are in. They get 5 teams because of the size of the conference. Chris enjoying the big showdown, Central Valley and Aliquippa tonight at Freedom. The Big 8 Conference has its 4 teams set, the order being determined in large part by that McKeesport-Thomas Jefferson game. McKeesport, TJ, Laurel, Highlands, Latrobe all in. Armstrong and Highlands are in, 2 spots up for grabs in the Greater Allegheny Conference. Big one tonight. North Catholic visiting Mars. Hampton in control their own destiny, but going up against a very good Highlands team.
Yeah, to me, that Mars North Catholic game is interesting because you got Eric Kasparovich on the Mars side trying to build a program first year there, what that would mean to make the playoffs for them. On North Catholic side, you've got Coach Pat O'Shea. He's been there 6 years, has won a bunch of games, and has said this is going to be his last season. That He was planning to resign, so a lot going on. You got 2 teams that really want to win and continue their season for much different reasons.
Yeah, good point. All right, 3A Western Hills Conference. 3 teams set. Avonworth, West Mifflin, and South Park is in. No scenario keeps the Eagles out as they battle West Mifflin tonight. So basically comes down to the winner of the Hopewell Beaver game getting into the postseason from the Western Hills Conference. Allegheny Conference, 4 teams set, ordered to be determined tonight. Freeport, Shadyside Academy, East Allegheny, Deer Lake. Same situation in the interstate with Elizabeth Forward, Bell Vernon, Southmoreland, and Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, you mentioned that Hopewell Beaver game. Hopewell's had some down years. Them right on the cusp there. I know that would mean for them to try to get in, but but also with Beaver, that's a good rivalry. Two Beaver County schools. See what they can do.
All right, to 2A now. This is a scenario where 14 teams get in, 5 from the Allegheny Conference, 5 from the Midwestern Athletic Conference, 4 from the Century, and pretty much the field is set. One team remaining up in the air in the Allegheny Conference. Steel Valley is in, Sarah Catholic in, Ligonier Valley in, Burrow is in. If Apollo Ridge beats Burrow tonight, they are in. If not, it opens the door for Imani Christian to qualify. In the Midwestern Athletic Conference, Beaver Falls, Neshannock, Mohawk, great story that you've touched on our website, Chris. Western Beaver and Riverside. And in the Century Conference, Stowe Rocks, Keystone Oaks, Washington, and McGuffey.
Yeah, I think the Mohawk's an interesting story. Everybody knows how the year started with the hazing allegations and the turmoil that program was in to see Coach Tim McCutcheon and his staff kind of get that Mohawk program together and clinch a playoff spot last week and then this week try to maybe play for second in the conference. Tough start to a season, but to be able to hold a team together and get to the end, that says a lot about the kids and the coaches in that program.
Yeah, indeed. All right, finally, Class A, the biggest of the tournament field, 16, so 4 from all 4 conferences make it. This is sort of old school. Big 7 conference, 4 teams are set. Laurel, Southside, Union, and Rochester. Eastern Conference, those 4 are set. Greensburg, Central Catholic, Leechburg, Clairton, and Jeanette. Black Hills Conference, 3 of the 4 in. Bishop Canevin, Burgettstown, Fort Cherry. Our Lady of the Sacred Heart went to the finals last year. They've been pretty much near the top of the rankings all year, but they're not in yet. It comes down to pretty much the winner of the Cornell game getting into the postseason. And Tri-County South, Mapletown, great story with the Maples, Monessen, California, and Carmichaels.
Yeah, I was talking to Donnie Millitzer, Olsha's coach, after their loss to Bishop Canevin last week, and he was kind of shaking his head about that. He said, "You imagine a 7-2 team going into the last week of the season, and they've got to win to make the playoffs." But that's the way that Black Hills Conference is shaken out this year with them and Cornell and the winners in.
Nehemiah Z missed that Bishop Canevin game. Obviously, they need him against a pretty good Cornell team just to, again, qualify for the postseason. We will have the playoff brackets unveiling show tomorrow at 2 p.m. But to find out who's going to be part of the brackets unveiling show, don't forget after the game that you are listening to or watching, check out the scoreboard show from 9:30 until midnight, tribhssn.triblive.com. We will have all the qualifiers, including those nasty, nasty wild cards in Class 5A. Can't complain because that's the only class with wild cards, so it might be the only class where we need to bring out this bad boy. Thanks to Chris Harlan. Enjoy the second half of the game you're listening to here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George. Since 1934, they've been committed to the physical and financial recovery of personal injury victims. Attorney Larry Kelly.
At Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, we have a culture. And that culture is that we're not going to get out-lawyered. We're going to make sure that we know the law as well as anybody. You don't even have an idea what facts are important until you know the law. Once we identify the law, we know what facts will determine the outcome of this case, and then we go out and investigate those facts to make sure that we have a factual pattern that is supported by the law that could lead to a successful outcome for our clients.
For your initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
You're listening to high school football on Beaver County Radio, now in our 75th year of covering gridiron action. coverage is being brought to you by Friendly Federal Credit Union, the Lockwood Insurance Agency, Falcone's Moon Township Board, Electric Garage Door Sales, Frey Transportation, Luxembourg Garbett Kelly and George, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, the Community College of Beaver County, Keystone Wellness Programs, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Drug Free Aliquippa, the Beaver County Career Technology Center, Tri-State Waters, Medic Rescue, and Beaver County Radio.
We are at halftime here at Reeves Stadium, or Reeves Field, on the campus of Geneva College in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, along with our director, Curtis Walsh, our producer, Matt Durzick. This is Bruce Fry, along with Eddie Crow.
Cameraman Keith Walsh.
Yeah, that's for sure. He's at it as well. And on our Facebook feed, you can see that there's a little bit less than 4 minutes on the traditional halftime. Then what they've done is they also add 3 more minutes to give the teams a chance to stretch, since they're not on the field right now when the Beaver Falls Bands performs. Let's go to the Frey Transportation Instant Update Desk and review these scores that Eddie Crow's been tracking down. In our contest here, Beaver Falls with touchdowns on all 4 of its offensive possessions. They lead Western Beaver 30-8. In the long-awaited battle of defending state champions being conducted at nearby Freedom High School, Aliquippa and Central Valley are apparently tied 14-14. Also in the Parkway, Montour 7, West Allegheny 3. Ambridge has taken a lead on Chartiers Valley at Mo Rubenstein Stadium, 25-21. In 3A, Western Hills, Avonworth all over Quaker Valley, 41-0 at the half.
Oh.
And another one, Beaver leading Hopewell 35-0 in the second frame. That game again, a 7:30 kickoff from Gypsy Glen. Also in the MAC, Riverside in the Battle of the Conequahessing is leading Elwood 14-0. In Single A, in the Battle of the Rams, Southside 10, Roche 0. In the matchup of teams in 1-5-108, Coriopolis, Pennsylvania, Osh leads Cornell 20-14. And in another game involving a team from 1-5-108, Moon leads Baldwin 21-20. No Saturday high school football tomorrow. We will have a 6:30 airtime and 7 o'clock kickoff of President's Athletic Conference action when the Bethany Bison visits the Geneva Golden Tornadoes, also right here at Reeves on Beaver County Radio. We'll take it back to the studio. Eddie, I guess it won't be our final break of the half, but we'll take it back there now to Matt Durzick in the studio. You're listening to the best in high school football on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Trib High School Sports Network.
Have you ever thought about where the football team would be without the quarterback? They probably wouldn't fare very well at all. Going through life with dental problems can be similar. That's because so much of what we do and how we interact and entertain with others is dependent upon good dental hygiene. If dental conditions have you sidelined, start by calling the right signals with dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip. Visit lipdentistry.com. Dr. C. Timothy Lip, your family dentist on College Hill and Robinson Township.
If you're a parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
Hi, this is Bob Barrickman here for Frey Transportation. When it comes to school buses in Beaver County, it sure is hard not to notice the shiny Frey Transportation fleet. Frey Transportation has been a local family-owned Beaver County business for over 30 years. As any successful football team must be dependable and reliable, these same qualities have made Frey Transportation a champion operation. Best wishes to all local teams and safe travels to the gridirons this season. From your friends at Frey Transportation.
They've lost.
Hey, the quarterback.
We're back at Reeves. Getting ready for the second half. There'll be a little bit under 3 minutes until the second half kickoff. Beaver Falls won the opening toss, elected to receive. Therefore, Western Beaver will have the football to start period number 3. First half, time of possession, incredibly close. Western Beaver had the ball for 11:58, which means Beaver Falls had it for 12:02. Only 4 seconds separating them in time of possession. But Eddy Crow on the scoreboard, it's a whole different matter.
It's a whole different matter, and that kind of describes the first half. There were drives where you felt like Western Beaver was getting it together. Then they would do something, you'd pre-snap penalty or something would happen and slow them up. The time, you talk about time of possession, talk about efficient time of possession. If you and I have the same amount of time of possession and I score 4 more touchdowns or 22 more points than you, I was much more efficient with it.
A big part of it is Beaver Falls had scoring drives of less than a minute.
There's that.
They had two second down. One play on second down went for 54 yards by Singleton, and one play on second down went for 51 yards on a sneak through the middle by Brickner. So quite clearly, that's what throws your TOP into a state of shock.
When you were a kid and you had homework, if you could get the homework done in 15 seconds, did you spend 10 minutes on it? As long as that's assuming that the grade would be the same in either case.
Sure. Yeah, not necessarily. Yeah, that's for sure. So we'll see how it plays in half number 2. Again, in our Marquet matchup on 1460 WMBA and 95.7 FM, Central Valley has assumed a 24-14 lead over Aliquippa at the half. That's noteworthy because both of these teams came into the game averaging 8 points a game, giving up defensively. That went by the wayside. Aliquippa was only giving up about 15 or so yards rushing per game. My best guess is that has gone by the books as well. So it was certainly an unprecedented situation where 2 defending state champs will meet in the same section, but the game, Eddie, appears to be living up to the hype.
It's living up to the hype, and we were talking during the break off the air. I've had the privilege of doing 4 or 5 Aliquippa games over the last couple of years. I don't ever remember doing a game that was close. They just tore people up. So when that score came across from Matt Durzik, it's like, wow. And I don't know, to be totally honest, I know nothing about Central Valley, but I was still surprised.
Good. Well, they've won 38 in a row, and they're also included. They're 4-0 against Aliquippa the last 4 times they've met.
Is it weird that the 4-0 against Aliquippa is more impressive than the 38-0?
Yeah, it is to me. But the other thing is, because that's where they're getting some great challenges. But the thing about a 38-game winning streak now as opposed to one before 1988 is these Central Valley 38 wins, several of them are, 2 of them are victories in Hershey, Pennsylvania, in addition to all the PIAA playoff games in the meantime. So that's what makes it all the more impressive.
No question about it.
You're absolutely right. I stand corrected. I've got it in my head, and it's absolutely subjective because I've seen Aliquippa, I think, more than any other school. When I saw that score 24-14, I haven't been able. I know the Central record, or the Central Valley record. I hadn't been able to see them. I'm still very much impressed by that.
Well, they're both solid teams. I'm going to take a wild guess and say they're going to meet 4 weeks from tonight at Acrisure Stadium. But again, we're in the media. We can say whatever we don't have to come up with a one game at a time situation that most coaches are going to tell you. And I got a lot of respect for people like McKeesport is a very, very solid team. Yeah. They extended Aliquippa to overtime in the past in the playoffs. But I still believe that these in Eddy, this is from being a coach in real life also. The trips you make to PIAA playoff games, and if you get to Hershey itself, that's experience you can't put a price tag on. That's going to give you the edge over other teams in the playoffs. Kickoff fielded by Florence of Western Beaver at about the 17, takes it through the middle, has an opening, cuts through. It is nearly out to midfield before Beaver Falls tackles him.
Did a really good job finding the seam. First there was some space on the left, then that closed. He worked back to the right and took it up the middle. That's about 1 or 2 orange jerseys from a touchdown because that was real close to the seam when he got cut down. They're on their own 48.
Damian Lee returns at nose tackle for Beaver Falls. He's aided by Samari McCoy at the one defensive end. And these guys have been very effective in limiting the ability of Western Beaver to run the football. Now it's Lefevre in the shotgun, accompanied by Florence. They send Crawford in motion, and it's going to be a play fake, and it's thrown wide open is Crawford after he came out of the backfield. He was unaccounted for, breaks the tackle, and is still on his feet. He's driven out of bounds at the Beaver Falls 35, so it's going to be a pickup of about 17 and a very successful operation to pick up the sticks for Western.
Excellent play call, motion out of the backfield. Nobody picked him up when he went into the secondary and became a receiver. Was wide open across the middle.
Yes.
And then ran over 2 or 3 orange jerseys too.
Yeah, and so again, Western Beaver comes out firing. We've talked about it before. Xander Lefevre, a fourth-year quarterback, is just tough sledding against this Beaver Falls defense. Now it's a triple option. Crawford takes it on the pitch out, and he winds up definitely winning the battle of first down. Because it's on the far sideline, we'll wait a second to see where it's spotted. But it looks like it's going to – now, is it going to come back? That's the next question. Yeah, Western could easily be guilty of a hold, Eddie. Is that what you saw?
I think that's going to come back because of a hold. And I will point out, even though that play doesn't look like it's going to count, that play is not made by an underclassman quarterback. He made 3 excellent
good
decisions.
Judgments. Yes, no doubt about it. No question about it.
All for naught.
Yep, that's for sure. So we'll watch the step off because these always come from the point of the infraction. So it's up to the officials. But it winds up, the football is going to be at the 44-yard line of Beaver Falls, which pretty much makes it say that it's going to be first down and 21 as I see it.
First in about a month.
No, actually first and 20 for sure.
Oh, they're much more manogeable, yes.
Well, it is. It's
a yard's a yard. You'll take it.
Yes, Western's going to have to try to, as you know, Western. You try to cut into that margin. Florence takes it though. He won't cut into it much. He's met hard. To be honest with you, Eddie, that's one of Beaver Falls' best jobs in defensing Florence tonight on a carry.
They did a good job reading the fake. Quarterback did a good job.
Rawl was very good also.
Handing it off.
We talked about Brick's Rawl and how he is at a fullback is very good at lowering his shoulders and running. Well, guess what, Eddie? On defense, he's very good at lowering his shoulder and tackling.
There were some lowered shoulders in that and needed to be. Beaver Falls did a good job stringing that runner out.
Second down and 19 for the Golden Beavers. Just into Beaver Falls territory. Play action, although Lefevre is met. He takes it, hangs on to it, and actually he's going to pick up about 14, and Eddie, again, you talk about good decision making. He doesn't panic and throw the ball off of his back foot. He calmly takes an inside-out fake and moves down the field.
When you told me, and we were talking before the broadcast, that we're talking about 2 4-year quarterback starters, I expect more because to be in that position, they should be capable of more. I have not seen him make one wrong decision tonight.
Yeah, and let's also tell our listeners he has been getting harassed by the Beaver Falls defense.
He hasn't had time to ponder.
Right.
No.
He's kept his poise. However, all that said, 3rd and 8, Western Beaver in the shotgun. Quick pass to the outside, and it's off the hands of Crawford. He had Gray out there as a blocker, but the ball was perhaps a step forward from where he anticipated, and it falls to the turf. And Eddie, one more time, here we are in a situation where the football's at the 32-yard line of BF. A punt seems like a useless operation.
Okay, let's paint the picture. Best case scenario for a punt, you get it within the 5. You're still dealing with Beaver Falls. One-play explosion possibility.
We should also mention that Lefevre is the punter, though. They could always snap it to him in a shotgun and let
go
him
quick
boot
kick?
It. Yeah, well, it's a possibility, but it's not going to happen. He's back to pass. There's coverage. Throws it over the middle, nearly intercepted.
I think it was tipped.
Yeah, I do too. I think Anderson got a hand on it, but it was just such a quick read. It's still the net result is Beaver Falls. Eddie, this is something you don't see every day of the week. I keep my time of possession charts diligently, and what you don't see often is a team gets stopped 3 straight times on downs. You usually see a punt or a touchdown or so. You just don't see that. Yeah, you don't see that all the time. A team getting stopped on downs 3 straight times.
The results of each play plays into it, but the field position plays into it too because that 4th and whatever it just was, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
if
they're
it's
too
on their
close
side.
to punt. Yes. So, but what we have is Beaver Falls in the shotgun. I believe Rawl is the lone setback. With Brickner, they take the handoff. It is in fact Rawl with the football. Eddie, that's one of the few times that he didn't run either directly behind left guard or right guard. He actually went outside 2 yards.
I think the plan, he was supposed to run off the right, and it looked like that Western Beaver did a good job stopping that up, so he just kicked it outside. I'm not sure that he didn't get a little bit of a face mask help on the tackle, but he didn't get up complaining, so I'm not gonna.
He does pick up 4, 2nd and 6, Beaver Falls. They're at their own 36-yard line, leading Western Beaver 30-8. It's going to be Raw. Oh, there's a fumble. Aschenbacher fumbles the football. Western says they have it. Now the men in stripes say they have it. That's a whole different matter. That is the first turnover of the game for Beaver Falls, and for Western Beaver, it couldn't come at a better time. 8:35 to play, second period. We're going to take it back to the studio. We've got an injury timeout on the field at Beaver Falls, where the Tigers lead the Golden Beavers 30-8 on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
It's football season, and if you can see the Aquaman of Beaver County heading deep on a fly route to the end zone, it shouldn't surprise you. This is Jim Riggio, the Aquaman of Beaver County from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Why, you ask? It's obvious. Going deep or the full distance for our customers, no matter what we are up against, is in our game plan. Now, what isn't quite so simple is getting my web feet into a pair of those cleats. This is the Aquaman from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. And looky here, I'm wide open that is, to doing whatever it takes to serve you. Click bfwater.net.
Over Newcastle, 9-7 at the helping you more doing this.
Back to live action. Lefevre chased out of the pocket by Beaver Falls, and Eddie, you've talked about it before. Lefevre just ran about 41 yards in hocus pocus direction in order to just get -2. So after the turnover, I think Western wanted to pull one of those ones where you try for the deep ball right after a turnover.
You shock them because they're shocked. Let's go for it. Yeah.
Yes, but the problem is that he didn't have time to pass, and it winds up being 2nd and 12.
That's the best -2 yard run you're going to see.
Yes, Lefevre in a shotgun. He's going to take the snap. Lawrence does have it, and that's going to be another minus. So it's tough sledding for Western Beaver right now. Quickly looking at our Frey Transportation Instant Update Desk. Some new scores at the half. Blackhawk 9, Newcastle 7. It's Freedom over New Brighton 30-0. And again, in our game on our sister station, it's still Central Valley 24, Aliquippa 14 at the half. Here at Reeves, Beaver Falls leads Western Beaver 30-8. And Eddie, the other thing of note about the Beaver Falls fumble, not only was it their first turnover, it was the first time they didn't score a touchdown on a drive. They had been 4 for 4 prior.
You feel good if you're Western Beaver, you stopped them, and
but now
another fumble.
This is a minus drive. Florence trying to make something happen, and he shakes. Eddie, you talked about the best minus 2-yard run you ever saw. That's the best minus 3-yard run you ever saw.
If you ever get the fumble business sorted out, you've got running backs that are running for their lives. It's been great, but they're almost getting back to the line of scrimmage because of the miscues.
So it winds up, and you would have to think that Western is going to punt here at the 6.5-minute mark to play third period.
4th and 21.
Yes. So after the turnover by Beaver Falls, Western Beaver has been pushed straight back so that Lefevre, who is the punter, now it appears as though that's an offensive set. Look, that's not a punt. What we're looking at right now on Facebook Live is not a punt set.
That's a lot of different movements. It's a flag.
It is a flag.
It's a mess.
It's a coaching moment for Western Beaver. Did they get a timeout called in time? No, it's a penalty against the Golden Beavers, and they're going to hike it again. So Western Beaver, realistically, they got that turnover at the 37. They've been pushed back 11 so far, with a penalty is going to be 16 yards of minus since they had the turnover.
That was a drive. When you hear a coach yell at a defensive line saying it's time to bow up, that was a drive where the Beaver Falls defensive line just bowed up.
So it's been an unfortunate possession for Western after the turnover. Lefevre is going to punt. Here's the boot. It's low. It's bouncing towards the sideline. It does take a Western bounce. Anderson fields it as it crosses over the sideline. So Western is able actually to come off with a successful punt. However, what they need at this point is offense. They didn't really get any. So with 5:49 to play in the third period, Beaver Falls is going to take over at its own, at its own 17, leading 30-8.
You look for optimized opportunities, and we talk about the time of possession. That was worse. If you're Western Beaver, you don't want to have the ball 4 or 5 minutes and get nothing out of it.
That's for sure, because it's less time where you can be productive. However, Beaver Falls takes over. Brickner in a shotgun. He has 3 rushing touchdowns tonight. As we see a handoff to the inside, it's going to be Singleton. Singleton is, that's not Singleton. As we see them get through the hole, it's in fact Beaufort, but The idea is if you have enough speed to get through that hole, your offensive linemen don't have to open it up all night.
They did a good job giving him enough of a space. You're going to not break it, but you're going to get 4 or 5 or 6 yards. In that case, you're going to get a first down, because if you hit that seam quick enough, you're already forcing the second line to deal with you. That's already between 2 and 5 yards.
First down rushing for Beaver Falls now, as they bring it out there at their own 27 roughly. Direct snap, handoff this time to Rawl. Rawl powers forward. As we talked about before, he sometimes goes straight ahead. That time he veered off to the left a little bit. It's still a successful pickup of 5. And it's the other thing, Eddie, we're getting in a situation where Western Beaver, their hands are on hips defensively. You know, if your defense is out there long enough trying to figure out Beaver Falls' offense, it can take a toll.
And you're also in a position now there's no pressure on Beaver Falls to find one of those big plays. They'll sit and run and grind it out.
They'll work with their offensive line, which includes Damiano Sims at guard, Thomas Tutwiler at guard. The center is Connor Palucci. We've talked about him before.
Deep.
Brickner with a deep ball. Singleton has it. Is he in the field of play? Yes, he is. So if he's at the 43-yard line.
He was in double coverage.
It's a pickup of 26. But the one thing we know is when the ball is up in the air, the wideout knows where it's going. The two defensive backs don't.
He was in double coverage. That ball was dropped in absolutely perfectly in stride. Couldn't have thrown it better.
Right. Brickner, again, we've talked about his future. He has not attracted an awful lot of collegiate interest as a quarterback. We'll see how things go. He's volunteered to play defense. It'd be great to talk to the young man sometime and see what the college of his choice might be. But for now, he's just going to keep leading Beaver Falls to the win column.
There's a program somewhere that would absolutely day one benefit from that guy.
Timeout called by Beaver Falls. So with 4:27 to play in the third period, Beaver Falls 30, Western Beaver 8. You're listening to the Best in High School Football on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Trib High School Sports Network.
I got several scores.
Insurance doesn't adequately describe what we sell. This is Renee from the Laughlin Insurance Agency. Sure, affordable insurance is the means that allows us to do it, but what we really provide at the Laughlin Insurance Agency is peace of mind. It's true, worrying about risk can take the fun and joy out of almost everything. We see every day how having peace of mind can lead to more enjoyment, which, last time we checked, is a fairly priceless commodity. Make life more enjoyable. Call us at 724-774-1230.
Well, that's good because I think this would be their. At Reeves Field here at Geneva College in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, 15010. Beaver Falls trying to strike as it's a fake, and Brickner takes it himself. He's around the right end. He's inside the 30, breaks a tackle, and is upended in a literal sense at the 21-yard line or so by Western Beaver, but still for Brickner, it's a pickup of about 25 yards. Now, the body language suggests that there may be a foul on Beaver Falls. There's the hold call from the officiating staff. And so that's what it's going to wind up. Again, Thomas Wasco is the referee, Dave Costa the umpire. Then you have Chris Manning, Kenneth Buckley, Timothy Edwards, and Michael Clark Poner assisting.
There is one guy on the Beaver Falls team that's happy about that holding penalty, and he'll never admit it. Michael Blackshear was the wide receiver. If he makes his block, that would have gone for a touchdown. The defender did a really good job shedding the block, but you know that sheepish head down, I should have had him look. Well, that was the jog back until he saw the flag, and then he thought, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, Coach.
Here comes Beaver Falls now. Let's see. Let's take a look at this situation. They've got penalized, so it's second down. And it's going to be 2nd and 1, as it turns out. So Brickner's in the shotgun. He's going to roll to his left. He stops. He throws. Great ball to the sideline. A little bit long for Singleton. Good coverage in the flat by Western Beaver. So that's going to make it, again, I should say 3rd and a foot or 3rd and a yard. However, it's the clock continues to run. We're at the 4-minute mark, third period. Beaver Falls. Brickner looks to the sideline for a play call. And Eddie, we've talked about it before. When the ball is snapped from the right hash mark, Brickner can always roll left.
And that's more space to try and catch him, and that's more tough for his speed.
And
this
then
time
there's
right.
a cutback. It's going to be Anderson, I would imagine. And it winds up being first down Beaver Falls. Actually, it winds up Rawl showing an ability to break through the line of scrimmage. We've seen him as a power back. That time he showed some speed. And Beaver Falls now has first down at the 23 of Western.
I'm looking at the scoreboard and I'm looking at the clock, and the bell is starting to toll if you're Western Beaver if you give up 6 or 8 at this point, I think.
Brickner in a shotgun, ball on the right hash mark. Motion man takes it on the inside jet sweep, and it certainly wins the battle of first down as Beaufort is able to go from right to left as we view things and pick up a substantial gain on first down. We'll say it's a pickup of 4. Western's playing valiantly, but they are starting to be victimized by the number of defensive snaps they've been out there for.
And they're getting exhausted. Brickner did a great job. That wasn't a good snap to get it and hand it off.
This time it's Anderson. He goes to the left also. Beaver Falls seems to be comfortable going to the left side, and they do it again there. And the other thing is you mentioned, Eddie, with the clock inside of 3 minutes in the third, Beaver Falls is in absolutely no hurry to hike the football.
Now, if I've got an offensive line that's doing well and I'm not worried about the clock, you just gave me biscuits and gravy. I'll line up and tell you we're running it.
Yes, and so now Brickner is going to be under center. He's not going to be in the gun. It looks like Rawl is his lone setback on 3rd and short. And it's the second man through. Singleton. He's shifty. He gets through. He breaks the tackle. He's close to the goal line before he's wrestled down in a one-on-one tackle by Western Beaver. So it is a very effective play on a 3rd down conversion, and it winds up being Aaron Smith who makes the tackle for Southside. Now the first down stops the play. I'm not sure if this is going to be an injury timeout or not. Beaver Falls is coming over towards the sideline to talk things over as Western has an injured player walking off the field on his own, so it's not going to go as an injury timeout.
Now both clocks are stopped.
Right, with 2:17 to play in the 3rd period. But what that does mean is it's 1st and goal. What are we going to call that? The 2 or the 3?
I'm gonna hedge my bet, and I'm gonna say 2.5, like the old days when I used to spot it there.
Yeah, no, that's fine too, because Beaver Falls, Brickner is in the shotgun though. It's a tight formation. Anderson's a wingback. Singleton's a tailback. Singleton gets the carry. He's met, but he takes it in, so it's a touchdown Beaver Falls from 2 yards away, and Beaver Falls has taken a 36-8 lead over Western Beaver.
The defensive end had a chance at him, didn't lock up. Past that, there was nobody behind.
So the capsule version is that number 2 scored from 2 yards out.
That's easy to remember.
Yes. And now with the ball at the 3, Beaver Falls, we should also tell our listeners, Eddie, if you just joined us and you're a Beaver Falls fan or just want to know, Beaver Falls has not attempted a placement kick for an extra point tonight. They've gone for 2 every time. And it's going to happen again with Brickner under center, and Rawl is the lone setback. This time Rawl gets the carry. He spins. He's met and driven back. One of the few times we've seen Rawl driven back, but Western Beaver again continues to play hard. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Best in High School Football on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Trib High School Sports Network from Geneva College, where Beaver Falls leads Western Beaver 36-8.
I'm Tiani, and I'm equipped.
Hi, I'm Gabby, and I'm a Bobcat. I'm Susie, and I'm a Bobcat.
Hi, I'm Natalie.
And I'm Grace.
And we're Vikings.
Hi, I'm Dominique, and I'm equipped.
This is Daniel from Hopewell, a proud Viking. Well, it's true that when it's game time, we might be on different sides. It's the other team that we are all part of. A team that will make a real difference once the season is over. That's because we are all training for a very long and profitable postseason at the Beaver County Career and Technology Center.
For 45 years now, the Beaver County Career and Technology Center has been creating top-notch performers from all local Beaver County high schools. Our spirited recruits have made the starting lineup and performed like all-stars in many different fields.
Why not join our team? Visit bcctc.org, celebrating 45 years as the best place to start a career. The Beaver County Career and Technology Center.
back at Geneva. Beaver Falls has scored to go ahead 36-8, 2:06 to play third period. Awaiting the kickoff by BF. It's short, but it hits the turf. It's a live ball. Does Western not recognize that?
Oh, dear
Western
goodness.
does not recognize that it's a live football. Beaver Falls does. They dive for it and knock it out of bounds, but by definition, it remains Western Beaver football.
There is some slow walking going back towards Western Beaver. The ball landed at about the Western Beaver 30, 32-yard line and just kind of squibbed there. Three Western Beaver players are standing watching. The Beaver Falls guys knew, the Beaver Fall guy, if he doesn't dive for it and take it out of bounds trying to catch it, he literally could have stopped and picked it up.
The bottom line is Western Beaver is pinned again. They're pinned again at their own 27-yard line, and so they're going to be game and continue to try to battle, but they haven't had a lot of offensive success in this football game. Now there's a whistle here. I think that might have been delay game also. We're getting near there. I can't see that there was any motion. I saw the clock was running down, and it's going to be a penalty against Beaver Falls, or I should say against Western.
Neutral zone.
Yep. So they were apparently lined up in an ill-advised situation. That just makes their task a little bit more daunting, and it's now 1st and 15.
That play where you let the kick sit there, the big issue is there are guys whose heads aren't in this right now.
Florence with the carry is able to break through the hole. He's able to get a first down. He's still on his feet, nearly out to midfield.
Great run.
Florence is able to hang on to the football. We've seen that so much in our coverage of football is when a running back gets spun around questing for more yardage, that's when it seems to come loose. So credit Florence with hanging on to it.
You have coaches say that extra yard isn't worth giving the ball up. Protect it, take the tackle.
Yes.
But that's hard to do when you're fighting for every inch.
Yes,
yeah.
and you're behind 36-8. Like Western is right now. On our sister station, it looks like Aliquippa's tightened things up. It's now 24-22 Central Valley. Florence with a quick toss, takes it to the outside, shows good footwork, spins around again, is met by a horde of orange jerseys, and finally goes down after a pickup. I would think of about 6.
Fought hard to get that last yard and a half. His head's still in it.
No question, and the idea is for Western, obviously they've got a sizable deficit to make up. But, Eddie, for my money, I think that Western just wants to end this game honorably, make some plays, maybe score some points, and try to generate some momentum heading into the playoffs.
In the back of your mind, yeah, but you're not thinking about, honorable loss with a quarter left. Not yet.
Here comes Florence moving up for the first down. Florence showing I was just about to comment how well he's done running to the left side. Now he comes back with 2 runs to the right side that are effective. So he is a sincere candidate for our CCBC Player of the Game for Western Beaver. No doubt of that.
He has been strong. And to your point, yeah, you want to see good things in the second half. But you've got a quarter left. Is it unattainable? Possibly. You don't want to think that, though. That's one of those lessons that's still available to you.
And, again, it's our final week of the regular season. The playoff pairings will come out shortly. Florence is driven back this time. We've talked all night about Samari McCoy. He makes his presence felt one more time. He's the guy, Eddie, that we've talked about who has come across from his left defensive end position to make plays on the right side of the offense.
Every time I've seen the orange 63 jersey, it's been in the middle of blowing up a play.
We've completed 3 from Reeves here at Geneva, where tonight's MAC action shows Beaver Falls leading Western Beaver 36-8. You're listening to the best in high school football on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Trib High School Sports Network.
Have you ever thought about where the football team would be without the quarterback? They probably wouldn't fare very well at all. Going through life with dental problems can be similar. That's because so much of what we do and how we interact and entertain with others is dependent upon good dental hygiene. If dental conditions have you sidelined, start by calling the right signals with dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip. Visit lipdentistry.com. Dr. C. Timothy Lip, your family dentist on College Hill and Robinson Township.
After any big game, people will be talking. This is Ellen Bross from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. The same is true when you get your new vehicle from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. Neighbors, friends, and co-workers will notice the new winning style reflected in the car, truck, or SUV you just got from Falcone's Moon Township Ford. Located on University Boulevard across from Robert Morris. Click and save at moonford.com and discover what the talk is all about. Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
Okay. Welcome back. We're at Geneva College. Western Beaver scrambles to the line. First snap of the fourth period. Florence takes it around the right side, slides as he tries to make a cut, and ultimately picks up 3 yards to make it 3rd and 10 for Western Beaver.
Maybe a couple more yards available. Lost his footing trying to cut back inside because Beaver Falls, again, pursuit on the defensive line. They've strung out just about everything that they've seen tonight.
Western Beaver, the good news, if you had 7 minutes and 37 seconds of possession in a 12-minute quarter, that would usually be good news.
You'd feel good, yeah.
But Western turned it over on downs once and punted once, so they have no points to show for that TOP. Here it is, 3rd down, quick pass to the inside. It's caught, but the receiver is driven back. We can only see where, Dorian McGee, the fine basketball player from Lincoln Park who plays football at Western, he's driven back. Let's see where the spot is. It's still going to be 4th down for Western Beaver. We've talked about this before, Eddie. When you're inside the 40 of Beaver Falls, it's ill-fated to try a punt. So I would imagine that the Golden Beavers will line it up. It's also a good time whenever you go to coaches' clinics in the off-season, you learn these trick plays and reverses. This is as good a time as any to pull out a prank.
What do you got? That's when you look at your assistant and you go, what do you got?
Yeah. And he fumbles into his pocket, holds
like,
out a piece of paper.
Some laminated card that's been in his wallet since 75. That's it. This will work.
I think we're going to get a timeout on the field of play. I think Western wants to call it. That's it. We're going to take a break with 10:24 to play 4th period. Beaver Falls leads Western Beaver 36-8 on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Trib High School Sports Network.
If you're a parent that's already watched plenty of youth baseball or soccer games, you know the value of teamwork. Whether it's the team on the field or your team of family members at home, strengthening that group can pay off in many ways. Keystone Wellness Programs is offering their free Strengthening Families program in Beaver County for families of children ages 10 to 14. Learn how to increase family bonding and communications, all while having fun together. Visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org for details.
How's that?
Field goal touchdown, 2-point conversion for the 11.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
I'm trying to picture that.
It's obviously what happened. You just don't see it all the time.
No.
As we move along here, 10:24 to play in regulation. In this MAC conference game, a quick look at the Fried Transportation Transportation Instant Update Desk. In our classic on 1460 and 95.7, Central Valley leads Aliquippa 24-22. Here, Lefevre flushed out of the pocket and sacked by Beaver Falls. We are told Montour and West Allegheny are going to overtime at 14. Also in 4A, Blackhawk leads Newcastle 16-7, and Ambridge Head led Char Valley 25-21. We'll pick that back up. The sack to Lefevre results in a change of possession as Western Beaver again is stopped on downs.
Beaver Falls is just too good. If they line up and they know that you're going to pass, and if you're at 4th and 8, 4th and 10,
well,
it's a safe bet. They just line up and pin their ears back. No chance.
This game is hauntingly familiar to the two times the teams met in the playoffs. In 2020, Beaver Falls won 42-14. In 2021, Beaver Falls won 42-8. Brickner, left-handed passer, drops back. He wants it all, throws deep. Singleton's wide open, makes the catch right near the Beaver Falls logo on the Beaver Falls sideline in front of the Beaver Falls fans in Western Beaver territory. So that's a big pickup for the Tigers.
Jaden Bishop bought the pump fake and didn't completely, but bought it enough to get the extra yard, and it was a perfectly thrown ball.
Yeah, and Brickner really does deliver a nice spiral. He puts enough air under it to get it to its destination, but it doesn't wobble. He has a nice tight spiral and a good pass. So that gives Beaver Falls first down and 10 at the 17 of Western. Again, the Tigers lead 36-8. This time it's inside. Rawl takes it. Rawl breaks the tackle. Rawl pinballs. He's going to get close. He's in. For my money, he's in the end zone.
The referee agrees with you.
Rawl scores.
I don't know if the referee, he almost ran over, agrees with you, but the other one did.
Well, when the play comes to a halt, though, there's a flag. It's sometimes we're just going to let the officials sort it out. Sometimes that indicates excessive celebration because there wasn't really anything. Well, it was after the play was absolutely completed and the touchdown was called.
I'm going to go completely off the board with the wild card and say it was an illegal help because he made it into the end zone because 2 or 3 of his offensive linemen were pushing him.
All right.
So I'm just. I don't know that they know either. The discussion continues.
Yes, at the moment, Beaver Falls is walking back, though. They're walking away from the line of scrimmage. Maybe, again, they're certainly within sound range of what's taking place. But for now, Beaver Falls leads the game 42-8 because they did score what was ruled a touchdown. But let's see if there are any strings attached to the play. The way you'll know, Ed, is if they put the ball down at the 3-yard line, and they're not.
They're not.
So this is not going to be a touchdown. We're at 10:04 to play in regulation. Beaver Falls leads the game. Unless of course there's a penalty on it's 10 yards from the it's going to be 10 yards deeper than a normal extra point kick. That's what it appears to be the case of.
I'm thinking that the touchdown counted, the penalty flew after the touchdown. It's enforced on the kick, and
it will
because the scoreboard's showing 42.
Right, it's not going to be enforced on the kick.
The extra point.
Right.
Yeah.
This is going to be basically a 13-yard extra point attempt. They give it to Beaufort on the inside. He gets close, but he's short. There's another flag down.
Face mask.
Quite possibly.
Well, I'm just blurting things out. I'm going with face mask.
Right, but the idea is we'll let the officials sort this one out. For now on the scoreboard, the extra point run attempt was stopped, but it is the face mask that you and I saw. However, that still doesn't put the ball carrier into the end zone.
Okay, now we're back at 36-8 on the scoreboard.
Right. That's because this was deemed that there was never a touchdown.
Okay.
So the bottom line is it's about to be because the ball is at the half-yard line. The ball is at the half-yard line. 9:44 to play in regulation. Beaver Falls is knocking on Western Beaver's door. We talked about the last 2 times these teams met in the playoffs. Beaver Falls scored 42 on each occasion. They're 18 inches away from reaching 42 points in this contest.
I think right now the delay is they're getting the time reset.
Yes.
On the clock there?
Yeah, they moved it up from 9:44 to 9 because I believe in the booth they thought it was an extra point attempt, so they didn't click the time off.
We did too.
Yes. So
I'm on their side with it. You take all the time to fix it you need.
Yes, and now they have, and it's Brickner in the shotgun. They're going to give it inside to Rawl. Rawl makes it handily. So with 9:51 to play in the 4th period, Beaver Falls assumes a 42-8 lead over Western on the 1-yard run by Rawl. Awaiting an extra point. We've talked about it before. Beaver Falls has not attempted a kick all night.
Why start now? You got 42. You got to that sequence of 7 at some point. Go.
Well, why you would start now is because you might have to kick
Because it might
one
be
in
necessary,
the playoffs.
yes.
Yeah, but Brickner has it under center. He rolls, takes a quick step. Wide open in the end zone is Singleton. So Beaver Falls now has 44, and it's a second 2-point conversion of the night for Singleton. Singleton has 2 touchdowns and 2 extra point conversions tonight. Therefore, Singleton has scored 16 of Beaver Falls' 44 points. The other thing that does is it triggers the 35-point clock, so that after this kickoff, the clock should continue to roll except for designated timeouts. So with 9:51 to play in the fourth quarter, the clock should run here at Beaver Falls, with the Tigers leading the Golden Beavers of Western 44-8. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Best in High School Football on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Trib HSSN Network.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Arbit, Kelly & George. Since 1934, they've been committed to the physical and financial recovery of personal injury victims. Why choose the law firm of Luxembourg, Arbit, Kelly & George? Attorney Larry Kelly explains.
First of all, we've been AV rated by Martindale Hubbell. It's the highest rating you can get for legal ability and ethics, and that comes from our peers. We have board-certified civil trial specialist, which is like another bar exam. Would you go to a doctor who is not board-certified? Probably not. I've always said, and I tell my daughters, I have 3 daughters who are attorneys. Those in the profession know. The lawyers of LGKG have the respect of our peers, and that's all I ever cared about.
For your free initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Arbit, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Arbit, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
Mikey Crawford takes the kickoff, wearing jersey number 1 for Western Beaver, advances it out to about the 33-yard line where we'll start play. And again, the clock continues. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you can see the clock continue to drain, as it will. No stopping the clock on first downs. No stopping the clock on incompletions. It will continue to drain. Xander Lefevre in the shotgun. He gives it to Florence. Florence heads to the wide side of the field, tries to get wide, and he's within range of a first down. It's a great pickup.
Good first down play. That's going to give them 2nd and 2, maybe 3. Forward momentum. Chances are not good with 8:42 down, and you're down 44-8. Now is when you start thinking about the next game, and if you're a coach, now is when you start looking to see what guys are still paying attention in this game.
As we see it, Western Beaver in the white uniforms, moving the football from left to right across the screen on Facebook. Beaver Falls in its orange jerseys with white trim. Direct snap. Florence has it again. Met in the backfield. He's able to scurry forward and actually winds up with a gain, which is incredible, as he's able to move through a tackle. One of the Beaver Falls defenders pounds the turf in frustration, believing that he should have had it.
He did everything right and couldn't quite hang on to him, and he was like a little kid you took the candy from. Dang it, slapping the ground.
I'm pretty sure it was Damian Lee, the defensive tackle Beaver Falls.
He made about 90% of a really good play.
Western Beaver obviously trying to move the football. They're trying to pick up the first down. They're trying to get some rhythm in their offense. This half they've been stopped on downs twice and punted, but this play is going to blow up in the backfield, and it's going to be Beaver Falls making the tackle. They have a player down, but they're going to continue. It appears that nothing serious. We'll watch the referees. It's a face mask against the Tigers.
Yeah.
So that's going to pretty much reside. It's going to be very close to a first down. Well, this is going to be the intentional kind, so it's definitely going to be a first down.
Yeah,
the major one, we should say.
It was
either
a great
major
tackle.
or minor. It's either 15 or 5.
It was a great tackle, and most of it was by the cage. Beaver Falls, you're exactly right. That play had no chance. It was blown up from the beginning. It might lose 2 yards.
Clock continues to run even though the penalty is assessed. It's Beaver Falls 44, Western Beaver 8. So that's a 36-point margin. Western Beaver being led by senior quarterback Xander Lefevre. Lefevre takes the snap, gives it the pitch to Florence as that. He somehow gets through. He picks up the first down. Eddie, I would not have believed that play would have crossed the line of scrimmage except for the great effort by Florence in the open field.
He just got around the corner from pursuit, and once he got around the corner, he had 2 or 3 more orange jerseys over pursuit. That was a great run. Probably too little, too late. If Western Beaver coaches are looking at that going, okay, this player's still playing hard. This player's still making an effort. This player's not looking at the scoreboard. Maybe not much of a benefit for that play tonight. There'll be benefits from those kinds of plays in the future if that's the kind of attitude you've got on your players.
Western Beaver will presumably be the 4th seed out of the MAC because this loss will put them behind Mohawk. Gray is going to get drilled. Gray catches that slip screen. Eddie, we saw that work for positive yardage in the first half, but Beaver Falls made the necessary adjustment to stop that play in its tracks.
It was sniffed out, and about a half a second after the ball is caught, defensive back is in the receiver's ribs. That was read out perfect. I don't know if there was a missed assignment or a missed block, but
oh no, it's just Beaver Falls read it real well.
Super fast.
Yes, they've read it real well. They've learned from the mistake. Well, not the mistake, but they learned from the gain that Western picked the last time. Lefevre again. He's a right-handed quarterback. The wide side is to the left. He's going to get chased. He's going to throw it deep. A heave into the end zone. Anderson with the catch.
Pick.
Anderson intercepts it at about his own 7-yard line, but it's going to move the. It's going to make the football return to Beaver Falls.
You want to say, oh, you can't throw an interception at this point? What is there to lose? Yes, it's an interception, and yes, that's bad. Beaver Falls gets the ball on their own 7.
But while this all takes place, the clock continues to run because we're in the 35-point rule situation with Beaver Falls up 36. It looks like now Beaver Falls will bring an entire second unit on offense. So that's what's going to happen. These guys have been to practice since the middle of August, so they're going to get some actual game time repetitions.
And you might need them in the playoffs. And in fairness to Western Beavers quarterback, Lefevre, he's thrown it up like that several times. That's the first time it hasn't worked out.
This time it's going to be a direct snap and play clock down to 13. Beaver Falls surveying the situation. It looks like the Beaver Falls quarterback is going to be Kenny Jewell, the third. He's going to take it out of the shotgun, and it's going to get into the line on first down. It's not going to result in too much yardage. Jewell is listed as 5'10", 145, but that's the idea. You know, if you're Jewell and you're a 9th grader, you're trying to get snaps in situations like this so you can be prepared to take over as QB in a 10th grade.
You want to get as much experience as you can, and practice is great. The difference between practice and a game is 1,000%. The speed is so much different. You can be the best practice player in the world, but until you get to do it on the field, you don't know if you're capable. It's absolutely different. So this is great for a kid.
But I believe Beaver Falls, I think the shot clock ran out. It might be a delay game unless they called. No, Beaver Falls called timeout before that. So we will actually stop the clock. We'll take it back to Matt Dursick in the studio. You're listening to the best in Beaver County, or I should say the best in high school football on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Trib High School Sports Network at Geneva College. Beaver Falls leads Western Beaver 44-8.
Have peace of mind that when an emergency strikes, we'll be there. That's why a Medic Rescue membership is so important. Medic Rescue has been Beaver County's #1 provider of emergency medical care and transport services for over 40 years. Our trained paramedics and emergency medical technicians are knowledgeable, experienced, and can evaluate emergencies quickly and accurately so that you get the life-saving care you need. Get the comfort that comes with a Medic Rescue membership. Call today, 724-728-3621. Medic Rescue, caring for our community.
Back to live action. Beaver Falls with the football. Jewel takes the snap out of the shotgun, hands it off. I believe it was Dante Gatus with the carry. As we're approaching the 3-minute mark in regulation, this clock's going to continue to roll as Beaver Falls leads Western Beaver 44-8 in the MAC. What that's going to do is Beaver Falls is still quite clearly the champion of this conference. Beaver Falls is going to advance to 7-0. Western's going to fall to 4-3, and then we'll pick up the rest of this on the Falcones of Moon Township Ford wrap-up show following our coverage of football. It seems like the Central Valley Aliquippa game will take a while to complete. Low snap, Jewel picks it up, rushes forward, bounces off a tackler, gets it out to about the 15-yard line. It's still going to be a little bit short of the sticks. So Beaver Falls will be in a 4th down and 5 situation in its own territory. So we've mentioned before they have reserves in the game, Eddie, but it's valuable game experience.
Absolutely it is. And if you're a kid that hadn't got to play much, this means the world to you. If you're a kid that maybe is going to be needed once the playoffs come for injuries or whatever reason, this is a world of experience in a very short amount of time.
Beaver Falls has not punted tonight. They're going to let the clock drain down. I would expect a delay of game call against Beaver Falls unless they called timeout before. They did. They called timeout. 1:37 to play in the 4th. Eddie, I'd imagine we'd keep it right here. 1:47 to play in the 4th period.
Yeah.
And Beaver Falls theoretically is going to punt here because they're at their own 14-yard line.
You might as well. You've already demonstrated you don't need to kick extra points. You show that you can at least punt. That's a wonderful problem to have.
Well,
ask a coach.
The other thing is the quarterback gets a chance to try to convert on 4th and 4. You're up by 36, so it's not like Western's going to come from behind on you.
Right.
So they might as well just. Well, we'll see. We'll see how they play it out.
Let me play devil's advocate. Beaver Falls goes for it, doesn't get it. Western Beaver gets the ball back and scores, and then stops the running clock.
No, the clock. Western
even
could
if
score
they don't
50,
short,
right?
It doesn't stop. I thought it stopped if it went back
but
under.
Here comes again. It's Jewel in a shotgun.
Go for it.
They are going to go for it. They're going to throw it. No, he punts it out of the shotgun, so that's fine. It's going to bounce, and it actually takes a Beaver Falls bounce. That just shows on senior night at Beaver Falls, things are going the way of the Tigers. As the punt rolls to the turf.
Good 25, 30-yard punt.
Yep.
There was about 8 feet in the air. When it's your night, you get the roll.
And that's exactly what happened. Is Beaver Falls takes it. Well, the clock continues. The thing is, the clock continues to run here, and Western is going to have to get out. The play clock is on. This is basically the penultimate play of the game. There'll be 2 plays run here as Beaver Falls we talked about Beaver Falls having to replace Brickner. Well, guess what? Western has to replace Lefevre. So Western has to bring in a new quarterback at this situation also.
They're not going to get the play off. They just reset the play clock.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they theoretically, they don't have to hike the ball because the play clock's ahead of the game. Here, the guy's name is Eli Cooper. Archie Manning would be proud of him. Archie Manning's 3 sons are Eli, Cooper, and Peyton.
Cooper.
As we see the handoff, and that's definitely going to be the last play of the game.
Got back to the line of scrimmage.
Right. That's going to make our final score is going to be Beaver Falls 44, Western Beaver 8. Beaver Falls wins the MAC and the playoff home game that comes with it. You heard all this action on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, and the Trib High School Sports Network. We'll be back in a minute for the Electric Garage Door Sales postgame show here on 1230 and 99.3 FM.
You're listening to high school football on Beaver County Radio, now in our 75th year of covering gridiron action. Coverage is being brought to you by Friendly Federal Credit Union, the Lockwood Insurance Agency, Falcone's Moon Township Board, Electric Garage Door Sales, Frey Transportation, Luxembourg Garbett Kelly and George, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, the Community College of Beaver County, Keystone Wellness Programs, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Drug Free Aliquippa, the Beaver County Career Technology Center, Tri-State Waters, Medic Rescue, and Beaver County Radio.
It might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. Buy Barrickman here for Electric Garage Door Sales in Monaca. Call on Robin and her team of expert installers. Dial 724-774-3200 and your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors and LiftMaster garage door openers. With over 50 years of experience, Robin and her team will get it done right. Give them a call, 724-774-3200, or find them online at electricgarageDoorSales.com.
Welcome back for the final time to the home of the Geneva College Golden Tornadoes. Again, Geneva hosts Bethany tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, 6:30 airtime on Beaver County Radio. And in tonight's game, Eddie, Beaver Falls just had too much offensively. Is that a good three-word summary, too much offensively?
No, it makes perfect. As a former English Lit major, I agree with it.
Yeah.
The second quarter showed you the difference in the two teams. Western Beaver is a good team, but Beaver Falls has just too many weapons, too many quick strike weapons. You felt like it was a good game at the end of the first quarter. At the end of this, by the time halftime came, we were talking about, okay, how does Western Beaver adjust and come back from this? Absolutely a standard Beaver Falls game. I don't have them all to compare, but the ones that I've seen, they might be close here or there. They're just too strong.
Yep, and so what took place again? The final score is Beaver Falls defeats Western 44-8. The net result is Beaver Falls had 7 drives, legitimate drives. You can't count the one in the mercy rule situation, and they scored on 6 of them. So it winds up being a situation where Beaver Falls scores 6 touchdowns and winds up with 4 out of 6 in 2-point conversions. So we talked about them not using a T. That didn't factor into tonight's game. This is the Electric Garage Door Sales postgame show. Our final order of business is to select our players of the game here on Beaver County Radio, and we let me take a quick look and see if I can find that envelope to rip open. Okay, no, I can't find the envelope.
That hermetically sealed vault to get to it. Yeah,
let's face the facts, Eddie. We began this broadcast talking about the fact that it would be a duel between two 4-year starting quarterbacks who both play defensive back. Well, guess what? They're both our CCBC players of the game. For Western Beaver, it's number 4 quarterback, Xander Lefevre. You mentioned several times his innate ability to make proper decisions under the blitz of Beaver Falls' defense.
He gave them a chance when he had the ball more than anybody else on his team, for sure.
Yes, and obviously the obvious choice on the other side with his 3 touchdowns, including a 51-yard quarterback sneak, effectively, because
that'll get you recruited.
Jaron Brickner is our player of the game, the left-handed passer for Beaver Falls. He's our player of the game for Beaver Falls. For our producer in the studio, Matt Durzik, for Keith and Curtis Walsh, for Eddy Crow, this is Bruce Frey wishing you goodbye from Reeves Field, where Western Beaver falls to Beaver Falls 44-8. Please join us after coverage of Central Valley and Aliquippa for the Falcones of Moon Township Ford wrap-up show on Beaver County Radio.
Thank you for tuning into coverage of 2022 high school football on Beaver County Radio and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. After tonight's game, head to beavercountyradio.com for all the latest scores from across the Beaver Valley. And make sure you keep your dial set to the goal line for action all season long on 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.